What is going on, everybody, to this beautiful Saturday evening? And you know what that means. When it's Saturday, it is Sophomore Saturdays, baby.
Yep.
And we're in the quarterfinals now as well. I'm joined per usual. Well, I say per usual, but we both weren't here actually last week. But I'm
Yeah.
joined by the one and only TDS here on my left. I got it right this time. Let's go. How you feeling tonight, man?
Yeah, excited. We were gone for 1 week. Crazy things seem to have happened, but we're on the second round of the playoffs. This should be
hmm
really exciting. Two teams that come from 3-0s. So we either get a super long series running it all the way till game 5, something that we just saw today once in the Fnatic Rogue series, or we just get a stomp, something that we got out of the C9 100 Thieves game. If you watch it, I'm sorry for your eyes. But yeah, let's get into actual games here.
Yeah, it's gonna
Hopefully
be
soon.
something for everyone there, basically. And
Yeah.
I mean, that being said, right, both coming from 3-0s, and not only that, Fever in itself, right, just in total has gone 7-0. They haven't dropped a single match
Yeah.
yet. Like that's actually insane in comparison to Clown Gaming Gotham, who are 6-1, which is also definitely respectable, but makes you kind of wonder, right? How are they gonna fare off against Fever, who is well, they've been given a couple of fevers out. They've been cranking up the heat in the kitchen to say the absolute least.
Yeah, they've been running correctly. The season so far, yeah, is kind of what I want to say. Fever is an interesting thing because they have been hot from the start. The
hmm
thing that you have to worry with this kind of teams obviously is when will the gas run out? If it
That's true.
runs out, right? Like it's hard to keep this momentum. It's hard to keep the gameplay so consistently high. So if it runs out, when does it run out, and will that be enough to give away the potential win to the enemy team? And that's kind of the thing that you have to consider right now for Fever, because Clown Gaming, they have struggled a couple of times here and there in the regular split. We know that they lost a game, but were able to keep up the record in a good spot, which means that they are not a team that you will not have to worry about. And I feel like
Yeah.
that's something that Fever, if they don't come with their A game, or if they are failing a little bit in terms of just the overall fuel that they had, can be problematic for them.
Yeah, absolutely. They say that the fire that burns twice as bright burns out twice as fast, right? And
Yep.
so best of five, which is such a huge mental thing as well, what people often don't realize, right? If you're going to those full 5 matches, you've been playing for hours, you're tired, and you're getting the nerves are hitting, and so
Yep.
yeah, it's really up. It's anyone's game at the moment. And as they say, games are made or broken in drafts. And so let's get right into it. Now, I don't know if you've gotten a chance to look too much into the teams, but anything you're expecting to see or just hoping to see?
One thing that I want to kind of see is if we are going to see any Hecarim, because
Hmm.
Hecarim did got hit quite. I don't want to say a lot because he can still be picked. The problem is that he's not going to be the same tank menace. Like he is
Hmm.
now kind of required to opt into a little bit more damage, which
Yeah.
means that he's much more burstable, he's much more controllable in team fights, he's much more playable around, which I think for some teams may not be the best of things, especially teams that don't actually play through a jungle carry. They'd
Hmm.
rather have someone be the facilitator instead of getting facilitated. I think that's the word. Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. I feel that. Yeah, and overall, just a team like Fever who has shown that they don't necessarily need to rely on just one component to get the win. Everyone steps up, right? If one isn't, then everyone else picks up the slack. That being said, though, we've seen a lot of bot lane oriented bans coming out right now
Yeah.
from Fever. So maybe bot lane is something that they're looking to invest most of their money into.
Yeah, it's interesting the attention. I'm not against it. The only thing that I'm kind of surprised is watching the Alistar.
Mm,
Because it's not a pick that we typically see. Like when you think tank supports right now in the meta, I
yeah,
think two come immediately to mind, right?
yeah.
Nautilus Leona. And then you kind of go into a void where you can pick a lot of champions that can work quite well with you. I think Tam Kench is still ahead of the Alistar. Brom is ahead of the Alistar in a lot of people's minds. So it's
Mm.
surprising seeing the Alistar getting banned away. But it must be, like you're pointing out, because Clown Gaming actually must have a bot lane, particularly the support, be quite effective with this kind of champion.
Yeah, because I mean, also the Tristana coming out as well,
Yeah.
really looking to lock down a lot of things in this bot lane. So definitely gonna be, they're definitely planning something here. Maybe they're trying to force a pick to come out from CGG, while CGG in the meanwhile they're like, okay, we'll just be focusing on the
Oh.
mid lane. Gonna grab that Victor first as well. I'm gonna assume that's going in the mid lane. I feel like we've been seeing a lot more recently now. Just the B1 kind of mid lane pick. We've seen that a lot in LJL as well. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
I like it if teams are able to utilize the Victor effectively. And by
Mm,
that I mean when you can take Victor top lane, that's when I really like this pick here. And
mm,
Victor is viable in top lane. It's just that I think that teams are not comfortable enough playing in top lane. That's why we don't see it. But I like the B1 if it's used in that manner. The thing is,
mm.
I don't expect Clown Gaming to be able to use it like that. But Victor is a
Cool.
safe blind pick that you can opt into. It doesn't reveal quite a lot because it's pretty much obvious where it's going. So it's not like you're actually showing all your cards. And it's a champion that, unless you screw up really heavily, can really go unpunished in a lot of lanes. Like Syndra is a nice champion to play against him because she does have push in the wave and try and control the Victor. But Victor will still have a lot of leeway in some senses and will be able to scale the matchup. I'm more interested in this pick, if you know what I'm
Mhm.
looking
Yeah,
at right
the
now.
hacker rim.
Yeah, no, well, the Hecarim, but the Nunu.
Oh
It's
yeah, yeah.
actually kind of interesting watching this matchup because one of the things that Nunu loves to do is counter jungling if possible.
Mhm.
Apart from trying to gank as much as possible as well, which means that if he can get an advantage for his laners and then move into invading the Hecarim and putting him behind, that's a huge boost for your team. Hecarim does never want to get interrupted in his clear because his power spike at level 6 is so important for him that if he gets stopped at any point, it can just mess quite a lot of the curse of how the game should be going for him.
Yeah, absolutely. More of a Chent that does like the kind of power farm city, and so
Yeah.
definitely an interesting pick one. And still, the bot lane picks are coming out. They are just they do not care about any other lane. They're just like
Yeah.
get these supports, get these ADCs out of here. With Nautilus being taken off the board, and CGG will have to follow suit with their last two bans right now. Anything in particular we want them to kind of be taken out off the board here?
Mm, Looking at potential picks for CGG, I
Mm.
think maybe Malphite would be an option that I
Hmm?
think you can ban away. With the way that the bans have gone, I don't expect it because we
Hmm.
have seen a lot of bot lane focus. Maybe Brom may end up getting banned here, or even Leona
Oh, one
since
more support.
it's
Get
still here.
there it is.
Okay,
Yep.
there it's yeah, like it's not Leona, but it's the curse of how the bans were going. It was bound to be a support.
Yeah.
Now it does mean that with Rakan, like the engaged supports that are left now, even Thresh, you're kind of stuck with Leona if you're on the side of Fever, if you really do want the engaged support. And if you don't want to give it away, it probably was also to try and focus it so that CGG has to opt into Leona, which means that Fever has to have a champion to play against the Leona if they are willing to give it away.
Yeah, gonna
Maybe
have to
even
wait.
Blitz this time around.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
hover in. Hover in. Can't quite decide what they want to
Oh,
run with just yet, and it is going to be the
okay.
Braum locked in. Okay, how you feeling about that one?
Playing with the disengage, not against it just yet, especially
Just not
since
for it
Nunu.
either.
Yeah, exactly. Like at least with Nunu, you can he's really straightforward in how he plays. So I can see the Brom's body here because he just stands in front of someone. It's the snowball, but if the Nunu is too far forward, you can engage with the Hecarim or disengage from the Nunu with the Brom, and then you can kind of play with the distance of the Syndra and the Aphelios. The only problem is that you left yourself open. Leona was the pick. I knew that they were either
Yeah.
baiting or someone was going to pick it. But with this, it does mean that the side of CG is actually quite engage heavy. Like they are really reliant on being able to engage because no one really wants to play on the side with Sai and Victor. Like Nunu and Leona want to go in, not really play on the side, which is kind of worrying to see.
Yeah, not only that, Zai also just being a great pick into the second room as well, just because you can kite backwards so well when anyone's trying to get up into your face, and that is what so far Braum and Hecarim are definitely going to be trying to do. You got Leona for that disengage, and the
Ooh.
Silas coming out as well can be absolutely huge when you look at the lineup that Fever already has going for him.
Yeah, at least the idea is to have another body for the Leona and the Nunu. So I can see the theme with those two, and then depend on the Victor and the Saya to kind of survive by themselves, which I'm not fully against. It's hard, but I'm not fully against it. Now, it does mean that it's going to be a blind Silas going against the top lane. It's opting into the Jax, although to be clear, it can still be flexed. Like Victor can still be flexed, and I wish
Yeah.
they flexed this because I think that Silas doesn't suffer as much against the Syndra, and Victor can punish this Jax really, really heavily. Like
Hmm.
if he can play that much, he can punish him quite heavily, especially with Nunu opting trying to hover his lane quite a lot. But I feel like we're going to get to normal lanes, and we're going to get the Silas on top lane against the Jax.
Do you think that's going to be doing well into that, just with a bit of a beast that Jax is at the moment, or do you think he's going to be coming out on top?
I think Jax is favored just because a lot of Silas's damage comes from the out attack passive that he has,
Yeah.
and the Jax denies that essentially. So it's quite easy for the Jax to just win outright trades with just the extra denial of damage that he does to the Silas. And he did get buffed as well this patch. He gets extra damage on his W, which means that he's going to be able to deal much more damage to the Silas.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, if you're the jungler right now, you're for CGG. If you're not finding these opportunities to kind of get that counter jungling in, what lane do you think you should be prioritizing this time around?
I think it has to be either top lane or mid lane. Because
Mm,
bot lane, I feel like, yes, you do have the Leona, but I think that you are better just allowing the Saya to get towards her 2-item power spike, especially if she's opting into the lethality route. I think that you're better off allowing her to reach that spot alone and then trying to help the solo lanes. Because
mm,
Syndra is an immobile mage, so trying to gank her is much easier than a lot of these champions. Even Aphelios, though he's not that mobile, he does have the Braum around him, and the shield's going to be a huge factor to stopping the Nunu.
yeah.
And then the Jax, even though the Jax has mobility, if you win, if you're able to get an advantage for the Sylas in the matchup, allowing for the Jax to carry is going to be much more difficult. And if he gets a kill, the Sylas gets a kill early on, it can also mean that he can impact other lanes earlier, thanks to the ultimate that he has, because he can just roam around, get a Hecarim ultimate, a Syndra ultimate, something like that, and begin attacking other lanes with the Nunu. And that's kind of the playset that I would like to see from CGG, not being stuck in lanes, but instead opening up the map so that they can move around early on and
Mm.
begin accruing advantages.
Yeah, we are seeing it right now. So it is indeed going to be that Silas top, unless for some reason they do decide to, swap it
They
around.
still
But
have
from it's
time.
looking like, yeah, what it's looking like, it would be Silas in the top. And then you will be having the Victor in the mid lane going up against the Syndra. It definitely would have been interesting to see them put that Silas into the mid lane. They definitely would have had, I feel, a much easier time getting on top of the Syndra and taking her out. And I feel like this time around, that's also kind of a big priority. You want to get Ord away from these powerhouse positions that he likes to be in. But I mean, at the same time, you could say the same thing for Antuk in the top lane.
Yep, 100%. Like, you have the way of playing good against solo laners, especially if you can just shut them down really early on. Allowing for your solo lane to be down is going to be awful, especially for a Hecarim, because the Hecarim is not known as the ganking jungler. He
Mm.
can gank, but he doesn't necessarily does it. And until level 6, he really doesn't want to impact the map as much as possible. So the fact that you're playing with a jungler like that, and your solo laners then can get just engaged on, ganked, and killed would be such a huge boon for the side of CG, because then you go into screwing Hikarim's day, and if Hikarim's day is screwed, then he cannot play the game for a long time. And I think we had a perfect example of that in the Genji versus Damwon game, where the
Mhm.
Hikarim was, I think, 100 CHs down on the Nidalee. Namely, it was a Nidalee, but it's something that for the Nunu is not actually that impossible because of his counter jungling capabilities.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. So it's gonna be interesting to see. Hopefully, a lot of aggression coming out from Batman here, living up to his name, lurking in the shadows, making things happen. But we are going to have to wait and see as we load onto the Rift. But the most important question of them all, TDS, people could start wasting their money. I mean, investing their money in
Wasted.
these teams. Who do you think they should be placing their bets on?
So I'm a huge Batman fan,
Uh
and I
huh.
mean it on the literal way because
Oh,
I like Batman. But I would go for Fever. They are on a streak. I think that they will have enough gas to be able to pull off,
mhm.
and I think therefore B5 it's better than what the potential could have been with the 5v5 or any other thing. So I think that the Jacks will have an easy time split pushing, and the 4-man unit from the side of Fever can survive by themselves. And I
Mm,
think that that's going to be such an important factor in this game if Antuk is not shut down early on.
okay. Okay. You know what? I'm actually gonna be that guy. And I'm actually going to go with a CGG here. I just have a feeling that if Nuno is able to make that early prio and that early pressure kind of come to fruition, right? Kind of put
Yep.
Warden off of his game. Silas, right? Diamond Disc on that is going to be absolutely huge when it takes to hijacking some of these ultimates, especially like the Syndra ult where you can just make people absolutely disappear. And same thing with Antuk's ult.
In
If you can
seconds, yep.
if you can utilize that like in a good combination, especially with induced ultimate or just this back kiting capability, then I think the amount of damage that's going to be coming out from that will just be so huge that Fever just won't be able to do anything about it.
Okay, I like the reasoning. I think it's something anyone can get behind, if I'm
Yeah,
honest.
yeah. I mean, and also you got to look at these teams, right? It is like these
Yeah.
are some of the best teams, right? We got Group One represent the top tier from Group One, and then I believe that
Second team.
CGG
I think it's
is.
second team.
Are they?
Yeah,
Oh yeah. Tied
yeah.
tied with CB Ibiza, yeah, for Group Two. So yeah, overall, these are some of the top teams in their groups going head to head. So at the end of the day, you could always say it's a coin flip, but there's only one way to find out, and that's to get onto the Rift itself. So we'll throw it to a quick break, and then when we are back, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be on the Rift for game number 1. Don't go anywhere. right, everybody, we are on the Rift game number one of this best of five series. It's about to get underway. We've got our usual five-man lineup now, looking at the spells, looking at the runes,
30
TDS. Anything
seconds
that we
until
need to keep our
minions
eyes on? Anything
spawn.
that strikes your interest, or is this all pretty par for the course?
Hmm. No, it seems pretty normal in reality. Nothing out of the ordinary. I think the only thing that kind of jumps to me it's
Mhm.
the what is it called the Hecarim taking the Conqueror instead of the
Yeah,
not Prezi no, the
A
Face Rush
legion
to
has
try
yeah.
and not get a
stopped
speed run instead just the
initiating.
continuous fighting, which I'm kind of surprised because I don't think you ever will get
Minions
continuous
have
fighting that
spawned.
consistently. I think that you're opting into fighting much more quickly, and then if you're using your ulti, you're engaging completely. If not, you're just disengaging. So I'm kind of interested in seeing how much value he does get out of the Conqueror.
Yeah, definitely going to be interesting to see if that does come to fruition. We'll have to wait, though, as for now, things are going to be
Dust it
fairly
off.
quiet. Double bot lane start here, so both junglers looking to most likely path their way up into the mid slash top lane. And it's really like you called it, honestly. Just letting the bot lane duke it out, focus on these mid and top lanes, try and get a little bit of a lead there so you can open up the map a little
Yeah, it's the life of the bot laner living on an island, right? It's
bit.
perfectly normal. That always happens.
Yeah, it do be like that. If it's not bot, then it's gonna be top. That's always the weak side warrior. But we will have to wait and see. Overall, though, at the moment, I do feel like some of these matchups we're definitely gonna have to be looking out for. Really, is this mid lane gonna be quite interesting to see? And wow, already they are being incredibly aggressive. Fire Streak looking for something already. A little bit of damage coming out here with the Frostbite. On that top lane, same trade. Actually, the counter strike being strided, but nice. I stumbled over my words. That the counter strike being started. There we go. You surprised at all that you went for that
Uh,
first?
I don't know if I'm bugged in some way because
Mhm.
I must be, but I don't have the items for the jacks. So
Oh, yeah. I don't see it either. That is
okay,
weird.
yeah, it seems weird, but
Oh, yeah.
okay,
Just got to press L real quick. And then, okay. So he started corrupting pots.
okay, perfect. Yeah, that was kind of a skirt,
That was
but yeah,
first.
those
Yeah.
that is kind of the
That'd be
situation
a
that you
big brain
see.
move. That not big brain. That'd be a statement though. Just no items
Well,
started.
we have seen players winning with no items. I think it's a big ballsy move, but if it doesn't work out, then you're going to cry for the next 10 minutes, 100%.
You're instantly getting subbed out if it doesn't work. If it does work, then you look like a god. That being said, though, gonna see if they can find something here. But a ward with the scatter them weak, but it doesn't matter. Step into the grabbing them field, but not enough damage coming out just yet.
Yeah, and we see the first gank attempt from the Nunu. I like the idea of opting into the mid lane, but it's a gank that it's hard to execute. Against the Syndra, yes, she doesn't have mobility, but she does have a push, which means that
Yeah.
being able to pull off the snowball play, it's kind of hard. You need to come in from a smart angle, in my opinion, or from a... Oh, wait.
Yep, trying to find something here, but the shield being popped by fire streaks, so they're not quite gonna find anything yet.
Yeah, not much good. Not much got in there. I like the attempt. I don't like it under turret, if I'm honest. But out
Hmm.
of it, I think that that's a good potential play. But this is also why I meant I don't think botlane should get a lot of priority because Braum denies so much attempt there. Oh wait,
Yeah. Oh, let's see if he can eye this though. Stan Limey is getting pop fire streak, tanking up so much, and so it's not even hurting him to say the absolute least. Now we do see Gordon on his way perhaps into the bot lane, but there's that
this
smart game we were
hits.
talking about, the knock up, and this might just be first blood. Not quite yet. The flash does come out from a ward to safety. Close call, to say the absolute least, but that was something more that we were looking for. We do see Gordon though. See if we can maybe find something here, but it doesn't quite look like
He finds a scorecard, or not,
it.
not even that. Okay, he already got it. But
No.
yeah, even though he tries to go for a bot lane play, not really getting much, I'm not against the idea, but I like the play that we saw out of Batman much more. I think that that was the smart play, the smart way of playing around it. We talked about it, how he needs to get a better angle to get the most out of the Syndra, and we see it. If the Syndra is in a bad spot, the snowball, even if you push away the Nunu, it's going to hit. And if it hits, the gravity, the
Gravity
gravity
well, yeah.
yeah, gravity wall will be able to stun you up, and that's just an easy combo to execute the Syndra, which I think we're going to see much more in this laning phase.
Yeah, definitely gonna have to wait and see. Oh, it is a ward.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Now, so that being said, first dragon is about to be on the field here, so gonna have to wait and see. Gordon, meanwhile, has been doing as we really expected, right? Just being the farm man himself, going for that level 6 speed run. Hasn't really been showing himself too much on the map, and so overall, we're left kind of wondering what his plan still is.
I think he's just waiting to level 6. I feel like that's going to be the best play for him. Ooh,
Yeah.
the
Ooh,
stun.
Antuk might have found something here. Close call, but the flash does come out. So Antuk will be able to survive that one. Close, though. Diamond is with a very nice predict hook there. Won't quite grab it, though. It doesn't have Ignite. Opted for TP, so he will have to force it back from Jax and force the TP to come out as well. Oh,
Oh,
oh no, the Zenith Blade, perfect timing on a fire streak, still pops the shield.
that's
Does
a
he have
flash.
enough tankiness? Does the flash coming out as well? And that was a very good play.
Yeah, and it's been 3 lanes where the side of Clown Gaming has gotten the flashes out of each player. Really
Yeah.
nicely on. Oh wait, Diamandis
Counter-Strike did come out. The
still
healing
has
from
flash.
Diamond is Kingslayer. Not
Whoa.
enough, and the empowered auto attack is going to seal just so much damage coming out. Diamond is not even thinking that he have to flash for that one.
Yeah, and that is the buff Jax. That is the extra damage that he gets this patch. That is the difference on getting that kill, I feel. But still, really nice play by Antuk, utilizing the teleport to get onto the back onto the lane, forcing a play onto the Silas, and Diamante is not respecting the play potential, like not even flashing away when he was so low already.
Yeah.
Disrespecting the potential of the Jax and giving away the kill, the first blood to the Jax, I feel like really bad because I feel like this is how the matchup is going to continue playing around, especially now with better items for the Jax.
Yeah, with that Sheen coming out, especially the empowered attacks, gonna hit so much harder. Do see Gordon still on that farm spree. He's in enemy territory right now, is looking to get that level 6 before Batman can and try and make something happen. Gonna have to wait and see. No name. Been going down really in this mid lane. Still a little bit of trading going down, and now Batman has been spotted out. So that means that Gordon knows that he's got full reign in this jungle to do what he wants.
Yeah, he has a lot of control, a lot of potential. I like the first rate capture because I feel like for the side of Clown Gaming, getting those rigs is actually going to be an important win condition for them. I feel like having that advantage is going to force the side of Fever into bad spots where if they want to contest for dragons and they are behind in dragons, they are going to be much more preoccupied about trying to get them, and that may be just better attempts at fighting for the side of Clown Gaming.
Yeah.
Keep on top side again.
Yeah, indeed. Is looking now that he's level 6, looking to find something here. Gonna have to see if the camera decides to pop up. It does indeed. Waiting to use that ultimate, but a nice hijack from Diamond. This is gonna allow him to escape. Flash did come out this time around. He did respect it indeed, and so they will get the flash and ultimate out.
Yeah, it was flash and ulti though, which means that for a second, if there's a second attempt out of Gordon to attempt to dive, then there's a potential to kill the Silas once again. Also, we may see a play in mid lane, since even though No Name has flash, Hecarim with the ultimate is going to be able to push away the Victor into a bad spot, and then it's going to be so easy to get the kill with the Syndrome.
Yeah, if you can just land that scat of the week and put him in a good position, but we'll have to wait and see. Herald is up as well now. A lot of damage to War trying to find some new ultimate coming out, and it's gonna be enough. Unleash the power, and it was too much for No Name to handle as he goes down.
Not even Hecarim needed. You just needed to just get the soul kill by yourself, prove you're the better mid laner, also using one of the better skins, and really nice solo kill by a ward. I really like how he executed it, and even though he was pressured early on in the lane with the flash being down, it hasn't really affected Award that much. Like, he has been able to keep up in CS really well, he has been able to push the pressure onto the Victor, and getting that solo kill is just a start to much more potential kills later on.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see Gordon looking to maybe make a move here onto Diamondus in this top lane. Does get spotted by the ward though, so Diamondus is gonna have to respect that. Back off. Maybe we see go for the Herald. Not gonna hit that back instead.
I think
Wants to most likely get those boots, I'd assume.
Yeah, I think that getting the boots is going to be so ideal, but the Herald is not a necessarily play to cool off just because of the position of Antuk. Like, Antuk has the wave freeze, which means that if they try to force a play up there, if Gordon is in the right spot, they can answer, and then they can go for the Herald later on as well.
Yeah. Do you see once again a little bit of counter jungling coming out from Batman here was deep in the enemy territory. Did get spotted out and we'll have to dip. Tuck looking a little bit low in the south lane right now. Definitely needs to be careful. And overall, like we were saying, not too much really going down in this ball lane. Really just a farm fest. Both of our ADCs incredibly even when it comes to farm, just doing their thing, looking to scale up. So we're mostly gonna have to wait for these somewhat like larger scuffles before we can actually see their mechanical prowess come to play.
Yeah, one big thing though, it does the screwed over potato there, because auto-attacking the minions repeals positioning there. So, a small thing that shouldn't have been done but it does, but it at the end doesn't matter because like you're pointing out, they are going away.
Ooh, Diamondus. Gonna go ahead and hijack the Grandmaster and arms his ultimate there. Maybe use it later on. Gonna have to wait and see if he finds something open. Look at that, the rotate coming through. It's snowball, hits the hook, hits
Ouch.
everything, and goodbye, good night, and Took is going to be taking on a very nice rotate coming up from Batman.
Yeah, and Jax tried to utilize the ward to run away, but instead if he had used it to just get vision, he probably would have been fine. Oh,
Oh my god, a ward hits too hard. The
gameplay
combo coming
button.
out. Gameplay R button indeed. Clicks that and it's a lights out for No Name. Nothing he could do to drop the gravity field. Tried his best to do some damage, but it won't be enough at the end of the day and it's going to go down.
Yeah, another solo kill for the Syndra. And I feel like the problem that it's not yet tackled with the Syndra getting those kills is the fact that Victor is going to keep on suffering, like we have seen. But the problem is that 3 out of these 5 champions will suffer a lot as well. Because they are not a tanky like Silas, he does get a little bit of health, so it's not like he dies immediately. But Syndra is one of those champions that if you don't have resistances or enough health, you just get bursted out. And that's kind of the worry that I have with Induced, with No Name, with the Amandis, of a potential Fed Syndra just destroying them later on.
Yeah. Fire Streak doing his best to defend this turret. Subtato though just did not care. Walked up, wanted to grab that, playing absolutely no respect, clearing out some vision, and with the next dragon up in 6 seconds, we do see Batman already slowly rotating his way to this bot lane. So maybe we finally get to see a little bit of a scuffle for this next dragon.
Will they fight for it? Like, it is a Hextech Dragon, which I think it's actually a dragon that both teams can make the most out of. Oh, the Amandis. A lot of damage. Okay, but continuing on the dragon, like, I think that it's a dragon that both teams can value, but this also means that there's a good potential that the soul is bad. Because it does mean that Cloud is an option. And if it's Cloud, I feel like you just get screwed over if you're on the side of Clown Game. Like, you actually don't get that much value, maybe for the Silas and the Leona, and that's about it, how I think. But on the other hand, I think that Hecarim and Jax get so much value if it's actually going to be this Cloud Soul, so they can give away this dragon and just wait. And if not, if they get the dragon, then they just get even more advantages. I feel like it's not that valuable for the side of Clown Gaming to force that dragon, instead of just trying to force a play on a turret or something like that.
You're gonna have to wait and see, as it's looking like the jungler might just be crashing here.
Do they know?
I don't think they actually know. I don't think they know. They have no clue that Gordon is there grabbing the red buff right now, as Batman is looking to set something up in the spot lane, looking to rotate on over to grab the drag, but there has a ward been placed there, so they will be spotted out. Something's coming down, and now instead they're going to try and shift targets and try and get a ward, but the gravity field does connect. Going to try the best. Chaos Storm coming out as well. A flash from No Name to get out of there. You see Luna coming out. Unstoppable though. Gordon running for his life. Does get slowed by the solar flare. Running as fast as he can.
Oh, the damage.
The damage. So is Batman barely surviving. Is going to unfortunately go down at the end of the day. And so grabbing stuff with the go. Glacier Fissure coming out this fight with the moon crash as well from Okina. Doing so much damage, but so does Induced. Grabbing one. Awesome. Tato, no, the flash comes out, is going to go down at the end of the, and now so much damage onto No Name. Oh, he's not quite dead yet, though. Don't count him out. Okina trying to find something here. He's got the right guns for the job. He's going to get the kill. No, he won't. Induced is too good. He just induced a forced coma onto them as he grabs himself a double kill, and they go 4 for 1.
Okina had the heal. There was a chance that maybe the Philios could have played that, but I feel much more importantly, it's the Syndra in that fight. Syndra has a lot of the potential damage out of the team from the side of Fever. And the problem with that is that Syndra was almost always in a bad spot. Like, she couldn't really help with the Braum in the spot that he was. She couldn't really help the Philios into the bad spot that the Philios was on. So it just meant that the fight was going to be much harder to fight for Fever, and we saw it. The Saya and the Victor always did quite a bit of damage, but the Syndra could never find a good enough angle to make her damage be valuable. And she almost was able, if she kills the Nunu earlier on, and then it's able to follow up onto the Saya quickly enough, because it also took quite a bit to kill the Leona, then that fight probably looks better for Fever. But really nicely fought by Induced on the Saya, utilizing the feathers quite well, and it's a Drake now obtained by the side of Clown Gaming, even though they lost the top lane turret.
Yeah, indeed. They are going to pick up that dragon. Overall, it was just a very discombobulated fight there in that mid lane with Okina just kind of being stuck on those sidelines. Wasn't quite able to get in there until it was just a bit too late. Had the white gun tried his best. Ultimately, nothing coming out of it, though. And we do see in the top lane a little bit of a scuffle going on. Antuk trying his best. So much damage from the Antuk, but it does not matter. You can heal as much as you want, but a ward is there to take you down.
Yeah, how quickly can you heal burst? I think that's the question that Silas wants to answer, and he couldn't.
Indeed. Subtato.
Oh,
Solar Flare coming out. It's going to be a nice little double stun. Going in. Glacial Fissure coming out though. Same with the TP. Now Subtato needs to be on the run
Tato?
instead. Can he get out? The ultimate coming out. So close. The heal and the shield is going to keep him alive, but now they're on the back foot. Fire Streak's trying to push in. We see the TP coming out though. They're going to try and turn tides once again. The turntables have been turned once again because now Fire Streak is the one on the run. Chaos Storm coming out. And Deuce going to grab that kill. A very nice TP came out there from No Name to turn the tides of the battle. Award stuck under that turret trying to do what he can, but the damage that comes out from No Name a bit too much there, and they should be able to grab themselves this tier 1.
Yeah, this should be a turret. They also have the... Oh, wait.
Oh, see, the blade does go in to connect, but there's just no one there to follow. A bit of a miscommunication, I feel like, and so it's gonna go down, unfortunately. Good idea, bad execution.
Yeah, and I'm more surprised on the fact that he was able to hit on the stun than just what happened later on. Like, he was dead. The idea is simply bad because you're going to die 100% of the time. But the fact that the Leona was able to connect, it's what I'm more surprised on. They did get the turret, which at the end of the day, it's kind of the objective that they wanted 100% to get. But all in all, it's not worth it because they lost doubling turret. They lost a couple of counter kills, which they didn't want to, and they committed quite a bit. They are 1,005, I think around 1,500 gold, or a little bit more, behind on the side of Clown Gaming, and I feel like their composition doesn't necessarily outscale the side of Fever, which means that it's going to become hard if they give these advantages like this.
Yeah, definitely got to be careful. Got to weigh the odds as to what you're losing if you go in. I just feel like Subtato kind of like, the moment he pressed E, he's like, we're going in, and everyone was like, wait, we're not ready yet, and he's already kind of under turret.
Yeah, it was an interesting thing, kind of what happened, and I'm kind of excited to see because we're not shying away from plays, which I think when sometimes things don't go your way, I feel like that's how teams default into. But I'm glad that Cloud Gaming's not defaulting into not opting for anything because it's not like they are weak, it's just that they need to fight the right angle for fights.
Yeah, definitely. And Deuce has shown us that he has the damage needed. Oh, gonna have to pop the ultimate there to escape the damage that was Award. And so with the Feather Storm down, that's a huge anti-kite potential.
Yeah, that may be a chance to look into the Herald. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like without the ultimate, Sai is just so weak, potentially just getting killed by anything. Like, legitimately, Award can breathe and Sai is dead.
It's true. We did see a lot of damage can come out of him. And yep, they are going to go ahead and use that as a Herald angle.
Ooh.
However, Batman is on the way there. Award trying to catch up to him, but Subtato gonna miss that Xenoblade Flash coming up from him quickly enough. Get the root out, and now Diamond Disc has hijacked Gordon's ultimate. So that is a way that they could try to get in there. We do see
nice
that was so huge.
Doesn't have
So Connect, though, gets right on top of Award and will go down. And actually, the steal from the Herald coming out will pay with his life. And now it's Gold Flesh team fight, but Antok is here to settle the business. Grabbing themselves 2 kill. Gordon just barely survived the Chaos Storm and the triple kill. You can have the Herald, you can have Award, but we'll be having your entire team.
Yeah, Award is not actually an Award. He's just a champion and he will die. And he did. But importantly, I think Award did his job in that fight. Not necessarily getting a
Subtato, no! No! The ace coming through. Oh my god.
I'm actually quite glad that happened just because, like, I don't legitimately get anything against Subtato. I'm just kind of happy that he died. But anyway, like, just wanted to point out that even though Award died, like you pointed out, they can get the Herald, they can get Award, but Award did his job. He got a stun, a really nice stun to push them up, to make them take time in killing the Syndra, and also importantly, what happened previously, blowing off Induce's ultimate. That is actually so massive, because then when they re-engage with the Hecarim ultimate, with the Jax going in, like, Saya could not escape at all. She got engaged on, she got immediately killed by the Jax and the Hecarim, and without that damage, Nonim was also in a really bad spot, and that was just so easy for them to get the kill onto the carries, and then follow up on killing the remaining members.
Yeah, and not only that, they even managed to bait out the hijacked ultimate from Diamond Disc, right, just to chase Award, when that's like, that is such a huge ultimate to be in possession of, when you could be using it on that 4-man there, where it probably would have worked a lot more wonders, but instead using it to hunt down a lone member of the team, then you have nothing left to use when you have to go into that full-man scuffle, and they do end up losing accordingly, but they're not looking to lose this dragon just yet. It's getting pretty low. We see the dash coming in, but it won't be able to smite steal that one, and now Gordon, terrible spot, absolute zero. It's getting pretty damn cold in here, but it does not matter. matter because we're too tanky. There's that Conqueror we were talking about. Will finally go down, and took Hexbreaker just get popped, and just one pops the one and only Batman there. Goodbye, good night, jumping right onto Induce. The Featherstorm coming out though. You got baited, outplayed, outsmarted, and is gonna grab himself that kill at the very least. We see a Ward Meal on this top lane, looking for Diamond Disc. Can't quite get it though. Did go gold. Coming in with the Kingslayer. A lot of healing. The flash coming up from Fire Streaks to get away from him. And now both of these teams incredibly low health bars. Might just want to decide to back off here.
Yeah, but all in all, it's an advantage for the side of Clown Gaming because they get the dragon. They are now in the Ocean Soul Point, which for them is actually quite important, particularly for the Sylas and the Nunu, two champions that do heal quite a lot. So hitting that extra healing is going to favor into them quite a bit. But also the fact that if they get the next dragon, they are forcing Elder really early, which I think it's going to be so massive for them because Jax at that point is not going to be the hyper menace that he tends to be in the side lane. He will be strong, but not to the point that he can end the game alone, which for the side of Clown Gaming is quite important because if they can force a fight at that point, win the Elder, and then look to try and push, get the Baron or something like that, and there's just not enough power from the side of, oh wait,
Scatter the Week coming through. They're trying to hunt down a Ward once again. Bit of a deja vu coming out. Did get stunned. Got flash. Can't quite find him though. TP coming at me on this back line as well. Gonna look to try and help a Ward out, but the gravity field does get dropped and took able to run past it though. And so Batman is just gonna go ahead and snowball, or I guess B-ball his way on out of there.
I never knew that that was a giant bee.
That is so cursed.
Yeah, that actually, that doesn't, whoever had the idea to put the bee inside of the giant snowball or nectar ball, honey ball, like
fire them. Fire them, get them out of here.
I wouldn't go that far as to fire them, but I would have them go to a psychiatrist, just in case.
Get some help is what you're saying. Just get some help.
Oh yeah, I'm not convinced about that idea if I'm honest.
Ward? And Ward's gonna need some help here. So the flash coming through. We see the Solar Flare landing though. It's gonna send Fire Streaks absolute zero, followed by the Glacial Fissure, but it does not matter. Fire Streaks will pay the price and allow a Ward to live to see another day. Do get the flash out though from a Ward. So if someone is able to get into those back lines, not much that a Ward is gonna be able to do if he already ends up popping the Scatter the Week.
Did he disconnect in that fight for a little bit? Because he just mindlessly was hitting the Ward even though they knew that there was a couple of champions around them. So it's kind of mind-boggling to see that. And Fire Streaks died for the sins of his mid laner. Yeah. That's kind of sad out of the support, but that's what the support does.
Yeah, as all good supports do, the ultimate sacrifice. And now we do see that Clown Gaming trying to set something up in this bush here, but yeah, no, there's no way Fever's falling for that. They all have a sneaking suspicion. Yeah, that Ward is the MVP. They all have a sneaking suspicion that something was going down there. And took pretty aggressive here, looking for something. Almost gets stunned there by the gravity field. And so yeah, a lot of pressure being applied by Anto.
Yeah, and the fact that they were able to just not give up anything with Fire Streaks dead is actually quite massive for the side of Fever. That Baron could have been a point where they can just push onto the mid lane and side lanes. And if they are able to open the base by some way, or in some way, then it becomes harder on them to try and defend the base. Because even though Jax does like to be on the side lane, defending bases is not something that he wants to do. And then Syndra can defend the base, but she expends quite a bit of mana trying to push the wave, and even though she has teleport, she still has to get in a spot where she just doesn't get collapsed on. And that's still a thing that you have to be worried about.
Yeah, definitely. And took looking quite menacingly though. 7-3 does have himself 2 full items, almost completing the third here. Have to watch out for that one, while Diamond Disc not necessarily lagging behind, but is slightly behind in comparison. Hasn't quite been that powerhouse that we've been wanting to see. Definitely, I feel like we're talking about how Diamond is right. He's going to be absolutely pivotal when it comes to these team fights, selecting the right ultimate and also using it accordingly. And I feel like we just haven't really been seeing that as much. I feel like we've been seeing Diamond just kind of like burning these ultimates pretty early, or just like on not the right members.
Yeah, I think he has to control his trigger finger, because like you're pointing out, sometimes it's just not necessary. And if you have the big Hecarim ultimate, it's better if you use it on a lot of members than
Okay, not trying to find something there with the ult. We'll find absolutely nada there, and now they're looking for the full man set. Batman will be leading the charge, but the Scatter Week comes through with the Solar Flare. Gonna be a bit wide though. Subtato trying to find something, does go in. The full man, the Chaos Storm is huge damage. Stagger ultimate coming out. Look at all those blue health bars getting lower and lower as they find Gordon. And Took though, he's in that back line and he does a whole lot of damage. Can they shut him down though? It's looking like they might just be able to. They will grab him, and now Okina is the last man standing. He wants that kill so badly, but he'll pay the price for it.
Yeah, and this is the thing, they are trying to fight around, and all in all, I'm not against how the side of Fever fought that, but the main problem is this. You're playing with a Jax in a 5v5 scenario. Jax is not a front-to-back kind of fighter. Like, even Silas does that job better than the Jax. Jax likes to get onto the back. He wants to reap the rewards after a team fight is kind of done, because he's a nice cleanup champion, not necessarily a team fighting kind of champion. He wants to wait for his time and then he shines. But in that scenario, when everything happens, he gets hit by everything, he gets stunned and controlled in a fight, he really cannot shine. And I think that we've seen consistently how by Fever forcing fights that don't necessarily need to happen with the Jax, they are actually just losing quite a lot in power. And this is the value out of getting the early dragons. But at the same time, it's not objectives that you necessarily are mad at giving away. You don't need the objectives. You just need to keep the side of Clown Gaming controlled so that they don't get much more advantages out of that.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, that Chaos Storm and Gravity Field that came out from No Name was so huge in that fight as well. The stuns and damage were quite massive. Subtato, be careful there with Antuk being nearby, looking to grab himself this scuttle right here, get a little bit of vision. Let's Baron just to be absolutely certain that nothing goes down without them knowing, and maybe they look to find Antuk. Nah, not quite gonna find him.
Yeah, not much done. They are trying to gain control around this Baron area. The problem is that even though they do have a good attempt at this, trying to get Baron is going to be a little bit more harder, especially if they are the ones that started.
Yeah, we do see control being a drop down there. It's just a little bit of control world trading going down as both are clearing that. He's just bad. Dude, how many control worlds does Fire Streaks have? He just keeps replacing them.
He's a good support. He has enough so that even if they replace it, he can do more.
Yeah, it do be like that. But for right now, with this, actually the Elder being up in 4 minutes time, it's still going to be quite a bit before we see anything going down in that bottom lane river. So for now, Baron is definitely going to be the main contender. Induced, Batman, and Subtato there to apply a little bit of pressure, maybe make it seem like they're looking to take it, and maybe they can even bait and tuck over and find something. They're definitely looking for it. You can see them on the
map.
Yeah,
they want to get something out of Antic.
Dude, Fire Streaks, I swear, he's coming to place the control ward. I can already feel it, dude. He's coming to place the damn. Yep, there it is. Yeah, he plays the damn control ward, dude.
We believed in him. That's what matters.
Yeah, for real. Honestly, at this point, win or loss, and Fire Streaks is just the MVP in my heart.
By doing what he needs to do. That is a lot of damage.
That is a lot of damage indeed, but Induce does quite a bit of his own, so Antic definitely does need to be careful. If those feathers get recalled and it's one too many, that will spell the end for him, and if he's not careful, that will be a huge damage dealer from the side of Fever being gone.
Yeah, 100%. Those execute potentials out of the Saya is something that you have to be really, really careful about, even if you're a Jax. But he later on will be able to get even much more done against the Saya. Right now, if they can survive, I won't say 10 minutes, 5 more minutes without losing a lot on the side of Fever, they're actually in a nice spot.
Oh, yeah, but Scout gonna make huge damage coming out to Subtato. Gonna try and find the gravity well. It's a double stun. You see the solar flare coming out. This might be the first pick that they need. And the camera's like, no, you don't get to see that. You have to watch Antuk going head to head against Diamond Disc.
I think he should have followed up on that, but he didn't have flash. Still, cancel the TP, which means that right now Fever has TP advantage, actually.
Yeah, no, definitely. You get spotted out, so now Ward, 5 Streak, and Gordon all realize that's going down here. So ultimate coming out, and it's absolutely huge. You can't escape it. Goodbye, good night. Gordon gonna have to pop that ghost to get on out of there as Diamond watches him kind of run away like, oh, yo, what went down? What happened? As they come on over, Baron is getting lower and lower. Gordon is the only salvation to somehow steal this Baron, and he can't even get close to it, and so it will go down and into the hands of Clown Gaming.
Yeah, that's the kind of hard news to playing against the Nunu as well. The objective securing is so good for the Nunu. Like, he just fights smites. It's essentially having a Cho'Gath arc. But really nicely done of controlling the objective. Even though Subtato gets picked off, he actually doesn't take a lot of consistent damage, which would have been the death of him. And then baiting them into the Baron buff. Like, Syndra without a flash, without the Sonjas to be able to survive that onslaught. As soon as she gets hit by the feathers, she's slow. So after that, it's essentially dead.
Yeah, absolutely nothing that Award was able to do. They're not quite mobile enough, and the feathers just ripped through him.
Yep.
Once again in this top lane. He does have that death dance, so it's going to be able to survive quite a bit more here, especially from the damage coming out from induced. And so going to be doing that the old split push. Going to have to force someone to come up there and match him. While the rest of his team, I mean, they're kind of in like a tricky spot right now, really, with the Elder being up in 1 minute as well. And we just saw from that fight that if they do not pick their fights correctly, they will lose them.
Yeah, they need to be careful about those, and especially at this time of the game where death timers are actually going to be a little bit higher. Any fight that you lose, even if you were behind previously, is actually able to turn around the curse of the game
Yeah.
because you can get value out of those kind of death timers being so long. Oh, TP behind.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
That might just be huge here. No idea that he is back there. Never mind. He did get spotted
Yeah,
from
they
the
saw
control
him.
ward, so it's not going to amount to much. However, No Name did get split up from his group. The flash coming out, the counter strike, going to hit him with the stun, hit him with the empowered auto as well. And No Name shouldn't be much longer for this world. Gets hopped on, gets taken out. And that is just the worst time to die with Elder being up at 14. However, Induced, meanwhile, has been doing his job, pushing that mid turret and trying to grab that mid inhibitor, but won't quite find it. But however, that is still going to be one man down for Clown Gaming. And so
And
it's
he
going to be
does.
a lot harder
Okay,
to
he does have
defend.
TP.
No, that's true. So they just have to stall.
Yeah, 30 seconds. Quite a bit of time,
Yeah.
but if they can, then something can be done. Aphelios is not here though.
Ooh, oh, the Glacier Fissure. Not quite going to connect, but will hit that hook actually. And down goes Fire
Oh, the
Streak.
double
Should have
stun.
waited for your team. The double stun indeed.
Oh!
Now the counter strike from the back line. Here comes the ultimate out, though. It should not be enough, though. And so
Dude.
jumping on will go down, though. Batman gets out just barely alive. Solar Flare coming down. Gordon running for his life. Barely getting out of that one, and same as Ukina with a flash. But oh my
this is
god,
game.
Induced hits like a truck. Diamond is coming back from the back line. Actually missed the hook on Okina, but it doesn't matter. Okina, not enough damage. Will go down. Gordon, last man standing, and needs to run and get out of there. And actually, No Name opting to just TP into the base. They're gonna
Yeah,
look
I
to
think
maybe
they
try and
win.
finish this. Yeah, gonna look to maybe try and finish this while Batman, Subtato, and Induced take care of this Elder. And now it's up to Gordon. What do you want to do? Do you go back and defend base, or do you try and steal the Elder? And I can tell you right now, stealing the Elder is not the right call because you're down to one single turret. Diamandis grabbing that turret as well. Maybe try and look for a fight here, or just hit the Nexus. That's probably the better move. Oh no, they have Elder now. He's definitely
don't
looking
need
for a
to worry
fight.
about
He's
that.
hungry. He's done taking the abuse. Grabs that first kill, and he's gonna grab themselves a Nexus. And with that, Clown Gaming are now looking like no clowns tonight.
Yeah, winning the first game in a really nice fashion. A lot of fights seemed like they could be hard on them, but they piloted them really nicely and took advantage out of the mistake of playing with the Jax in team fights, which I think shouldn't be how you try and play around with the Jax.
Hmm.
Overall, in all, I think that Clown Gaming executing really nicely with their composition. And the last attempt that Fever had, that I think was a really nice attempt, the team fight in the chokehold with every ultimate essentially hitting, but I feel like the Aphelios really unluckily doesn't hit the full front of the Infernum on everyone,
Yeah.
which means that if he gets dead, everyone is dead. The Saya is 100% dead because that is a huge amount of AoE damage
Yeah.
mixed with crit. Saya is essentially dead after that. But the fact that the Saya was able to not get hit by the full front of the damage, she gets the feather storm, I think it is, out,
Yeah, that's
and then just flash out to stun as well to get the execute onto the Jax as well. It just meant that it was going to be much easier for them to win the fight, and at the end they do. Really
yeah.
nicely play. Full congratulations on the first game.
Yeah, absolutely. It almost kind of felt like Fever just kind of kept shooting themselves in the foot, like at
Yeah.
one toe for every fight there, because it's like you even look at the goal difference, right? Over time, it is just consistently Fever favored, and then 30 minutes, boop, it just shoots right up. And that was around some
Yep.
of those times as well when we saw these team fights happening, where it's like, you don't want to take those. They bait the flash out from a ward, for example, and then you just see the Featherstorm come out from Induce and just absolutely shreds them. And it's like you should not be there. Same with Jax as well. Going into some of these fights where we're like, why are you doing that? You're not going to be winning those.
Yeah, it's spots that I feel like Fever should be able to correct, especially
Mm,
after watching how they played previously in the regular season into now.
yeah,
But I think that it's also to the credit of Clown Gaming, right? Because they took advantage of those bad moments, of those baits, and make the most out of them.
yeah, definitely. So it absolutely is something that they should be able to fix. Gonna have to look back onto that a little bit, but we're gonna throw it to a short break, and then when we're back, we will be in draft for game number 2. Don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for waiting so patiently. That being said, we did have quite a bit of a banger in that first game. I gotta say, I feel a little awkward because I know that our producer had it set to 1 point on clock gaming, and now it really seems like we leaked the script or something like that. I'm not even
Sure.
gonna lie, but it was a very close match to say the absolute least. Fever at the end of the day just kind of felt like I said before, they shot themselves in the foot one too many times, took a couple of
Yeah.
fights that maybe weren't the move. I don't know, TDS, maybe give me a bit of a recap on that real quick, just for those who are just joining us right now.
Like the kind of way that I see that game was trying to do much more than you needed to. And I feel like that was a lot of what we saw from Fever. They are a team that are capable of playing well, but the more that they try to do, the more that a team tries to do, the
Mm,
easier it becomes for the enemy to maybe exploit those openings. Because there's
yeah,
going to be much more. If you try to do more things much more times than less, it's going to give
more
an opening
opportunities
to
to
the enemy.
fail. Yeah,
Exactly. Exactly. So it just makes it. It just made it easier for Clown Gaming to get the advantage that they wanted, and they took better advantage out of that. Now, Fever is a team that are capable. So if they can correct those small openings, draft something that does go into the idea that they want. Because if they wanted to fight, draft for fighting. Don't draft for something that does not include 5v5 fighting. I think
yeah.
that is something that I feel like would benefit them much more coming into the second game.
Yeah, I'm also a little disappointed because in that first game, we saw so much emphasis coming out onto this bot lane from Fever, and it felt
Yep.
like literally nothing came out of it. It's like there was nothing really of note in this bot lane for Fever, and all really that came out of that bot lane was Induced, who was just absolutely
Just
ripping and
carried.
tearing. Yeah, who just absolutely carrying, was ripping and tearing right through them. And respectively, we see that Zaya ban coming out from Fever.
Yeah, the Saya ban, but interestingly now as well the Mordekaiser ban, nothing that we saw in the previous game. It is important to note that Clown Gaming is now actually utilizing their starting top laner, Potato Mato, so it does make sense that there's actually going to be bans towards him. But I
Mm,
want to see how much does it affect CGG's kind of drafting and composition idea making, because playing with a different player does impact how you typically play sometimes.
yeah. Oh, already hovering. There we go. All right,
Okay.
now there we go, locking in some more kind of fight-oriented champions there. Diego being someone that's going to be very quickly to get off the back and snowball a game out of existence, to say the absolute least.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting seeing how does Diego perform.
New champ,
How does
Diego. New champ.
I have no information, but if there's a Diego, I take full credit about predicting it. Just saying. But yeah, interesting to see how the Diego does perform. I want to see if they opt into having someone else with engager, because Diego obviously cannot be the main engager. Like, he can come in and clean up fights as well, and he can be much more of a part of a fight thanks to how some of the kit of him works. But they need something to engage really heavily, especially now with Oriana. They need something. I think they're going to opt into Leona this time from the side of Fever if it's not taking in this phase. Ooh,
Zach.
okay, I like that.
Okay. Hmm. Please do explain. Tell me why.
I'm waiting to see a little bit on who the
Mm,
support is, just to add to. Okay, they're opting into the AD carry, but overall, the reason why I like the Zac quite a lot is not only the fact that I think Zac it's overlooked quite a bit,
mhm.
but the fact that one of the things that Oriana and Diego want to do is not necessarily engage, but play around their what do you call it, the ranged abilities that
Mm,
they make use of. Oriana Shockwave, and then Diego's reset potential with the ultimate as well. So with the Zac, you can kind of go over those things because he just has such a huge range to cover and jump into that if you have someone else to follow up as well with the Zac, it just becomes so easy to play around team fights, especially if he's tanky enough. And Oriana is not a champion that has enough escape tools. Diego does have them, but you don't want to use them, right? Because those are your tools as well to try and force fights. So it does become hard for Fever if they cannot stop the Zac from being able to engage into team fights, and it's going to fall quite heavily on this Thresh. He can do it, namely because Thresh has a lot of disengage potential. But I think the Zac pick in this game is actually going to be so good for the side of Clown Gaming.
Also, just with Zac and Victor, so much displacement coming out that's going to
Yeah.
allow this Jinx to really just be able to wreak havoc into those front to back lines, doing so much sustained damage. That is, of course, if manages to actually get ahead and isn't shut down early on, as we'll have to wait and see. But Fever, once again, just so many bot lane oriented bans coming out. The only thing coming out was that Mordekaiser, but other than that, we see a lot of enchanters coming out, and understandably so, right? When you have the Jinx, it's really good to pair him up with an enchanter, like for example the Lulu or the Karma, that can kind of facilitate these all-in sort of styles.
Yeah, certainly. I'm much more of a fan of the Lulu with the Jinx than the Karma, just because I feel like just getting that extra oomph
Yeah.
to the carry potential of the Jinx is super fun to have as a Jinx. But all in all, I'm understanding on those AD support bans. Paris being picked here, I like the idea because the idea is to try and get control over the lane so that you can allow for Viego to have a lot of impact down in bot lane. Like, you get the push, you allow for Viego to have free time and free reign over what happens in the bot side, and then you can try to go for dragons, try to go for dives, and it's easier to execute when you have the push on your side. Now, I love this pick. I was thinking about this. I think this is the game for Morgana, because the only thing that you fear as the Jinx is either a shockwave, a hook, or now with the Varus, the Chains of Corruption. And all of those get completely stopped by the Morgana Black Shield. And if the Jinx is not the target, now with the Aatrox, which I'm honestly not a fan of, I think that there's probably better picks here. I think Camille would have been a better pick here, if I'm honest. With the Black Shield, it's easier for him to try and get into the backline, because guess what? No piece of CC will stop you, not even the Wukong ultimate either. So all in all, I think that there's a good idea behind Clown Gaming's composition. The Wukong is interesting because I'm not a I'm not adept on a lot of the matchups in the top lane, so I'm not sure how this should turn out. But I feel like the Wukong should be able to put a little bit of pressure onto the Aatrox, and if he can get good flanks, that could be the way for Fever to win the game. Because even though Zac is a great engager and he has a dive partner in the form of the Aatrox, Morgana, Jinx, and Victor are squishy, and you can just give one member the Black Shield, not three. So if the Wukong can take the most advantage out of that, it's going to be easier for Fever to be able to win.
Yeah, definitely. So it's really going to be incredibly pivotal here with this Morgana pick, just making sure that Subtail puts it on to induce at the right time, right? Not using it too early and then allowing the Viego to kind of sneak up with the Mist and the Spectral Maw, or putting it too late. And then, it's just absolute chaos ensues. But with Zac, Aatrox, and Victor, that's a lot of distortion that will be coming out and allowing Induce to just really ramp up and do the damage that we've known him to do from that last game. Definitely going to be a bit of a different play style this time around, though, now that he won't have that Feather Storm to kind of get him out of those sticky situations that he was able to escape within that last game. But if he's able to pilot it well, this should be an incredibly strong pick, to say the absolute least. I'm curious about this mid lane here. Now that we have the Orianna this time around going into the Victor, do you think that Fever's award is going to have an easier time this time around, or do you think it's just going to be about the same, where they're fairly even matched?
I feel it's similar. It's actually quite similar with the Syndra, because both of them provide lane control. Both of them provide a lot of utility for your team with damage, because Orianna deals an absurd amount of damage that you typically don't expect. But what is most important about Orianna in comparison to the Syndra is the Shockwave. Like, the difference in ultimate, because Syndra is much more a peak potential kind of burst mage, in the sense that yes, she can work in teamfights, but she shines trying to just kill one single target as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Orianna, she does provide good peak potential with the ultimate, but if you can get a multi-man ultimate, you get much more value, and that's why champions like Wukong pair upgrade with her. Champions like the Malphite that was banned away. So I think that Orianna, it's going to be similar in the laning phase, but when teamfight comes, she's going to be much more dangerous, just because of the amount of impact that the Shockwave can have. Like, it's a do or die kind of ultimate. It can be huge, or we can be completely useless. But there's no in between. Like, legitimately, there's no in between with the ultimate. But if you find the value, you're the hero of the game.
Yeah, and I feel like that's also why they have Antuk right on that Wukong with the Cyclone, is going to allow them to kind of set up those Orianna ultimates a little bit, make it a little bit easier for a ward to kind of find those targets. They won't be able to run away while they are in the air. And same with Thresh with that box being dropped down, the Chain of Corruption as well, with that chain effect that it has. So overall, we're going to have to see. But I'm going to ask you again, second time around, looking at the teams, who do you think they should be putting their money on?
So, I was wrong last time, so I'm sorry for the bettors that went with my option. I don't like the Aatrox pick, just because I feel like you could have better synergy with other champions in this game. And I think Fever will be able to run it with this composition. Like, this is a much more much better composition for what they wanted to pull off in the previous game. We asked for much more sense in team fighting, and this is better in that regard. So I think I'm opting for Fever, and I think I think they can be able to pull off the game win. Now watch as they go 2-0.
That would be quite the play, but it's
Yeah,
true. But this time around, of course, we also need to remember that it's potato tomato in this top lane, so it's going to be
true.
interesting to see, right? Maybe they're just opting for a completely different playstyle here for the Clowns in comparison to Game One. So we'll have to see why he's considered the main roster. Who knows if he's not performing well? Maybe the threat of him getting subbed out is on the table.
Yeah,
Lord knows the pressure might be on for him. But that being said, also just taking a look at Fever's composition, right? So I'm hoping that this time around they will be kind of taking thoughts as to what happened in Game One, right, and kind of adjust that style. And I feel like we are seeing that with these kind of like the picks like Oriana and Varus coming out as well. Same with the
yeah,
Wukong, right? They're realizing, okay, we don't need to be everywhere at all times and make everything happen. Let's just, we go for these team fights, and then we have slight pick potentials with the Viego and with the Varus as well. And so I feel like if they are able to actually kind of capitalize on the opportunities they want to open for themselves, then they should be able to take this thing home and tie it up to 1-1. But at the end of the day, it really is anybody's game. And I feel like a lot of people's faith in Fever might have been shaken from that first game.
true. It's the kind of thing that even though you're a good team coming into the series, you don't know what can happen in the series. You can be
Mm.
the best team in the world, but that one series it's destined that you lose. So it really doesn't matter how great you were previously. It's what happens today.
Yeah.
And Fever is in a toughest position right now. They can turn it around, but maybe this is the start, or not the start. This is the game that they lost. They lose
Yeah.
at the end.
Yeah, we talked about, right? It's like at one point, nice. At what point is their gas going to run out, right? At
Yep.
what point is that flame going to burn out? You've gone undefeated. Everyone's got to take a L at some point. Is this
True.
maybe going to be the series? But there's only one way to tell, and that is to just get on the damn Rift itself. So we'll do a quick break. And then when we are back, we will be on the Rift for game number 2. Don't go anywhere.
I breaking through? You feel me too? I still wanna run to you. Am I breaking through? You feel me too? I still wanna run to you. Am I breaking through? You feel me too? I still wanna run to you. Am I breaking through?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back on the Rift. Game number 2 is
30
getting
seconds until
underway.
minions
Fever
spawn.
need to tie this up now. They're not quite at a spot yet where it's make or break for them, but losing game 2 definitely is not optimal. And I can't imagine anyone would want to lose it intentionally.
Yeah, it's certainly not much losing since they have still one chance to turn it around. But you never want to go to that last potential game with the mentality of just the loss because it's so harsh on you. Like mentality is so much
Minions
of
have
what
spawned.
can help you or destroy you in a BO5, and you really want it to be on your side.
Yeah, definitely. And took gonna be looking for a little bit of an early charade here onto potato tomato. A lot of damage coming out actually. Bringing the whole block over to party as well. But overall, just going to back off. And took a bit of a confidence boost, definitely already. A bit of damage coming out here onto potato tomato.
Yeah, nice bit of damage. I don't think it should mean a lot in the lane, but it's a nice kind of confidence booster to
Good
give you
feeling.
to
Yeah.
just control. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely a good feeling here. Once again, repeated little a double a bot start here. So you think this time around we're going to be seeing again kind of like no real attention being paid into this bot lane and more focus into the mid to top? Or do you think it's going to be different this time around?
I think we're going to be seeing focus towards top lane because I think that this game volatility out of the top laners is much higher.
Mm-hmm.
Like if one of these dies, if one of these top laners die, the possibility of them recovering in this game is quite low. Like these are champions that are quite feast or famine. I think Wukong a little bit less than Aatrox, but Aatrox is kind of close to what Renekton is like. If he gets behind, it's quite hard for him to have value in the game, and that's why I feel like we're going to see that focus going into the top side.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. Dark Binding connecting. Very nice hook. Going to go a little bit far induced. Looking to get some poke damage out overall. Nice little move there. And Subtato has hit that level 2. Waiting to hit that level 3 so he can grab up that Dark Blade. Piercing arrow going through. Doing a little bit of damage. But overall, just some charading going down here. Not too much just yet. There's a bit of this lull period as Potato Tomato already has slowly but surely gotten the upper hand in this lane now in comparison to what we saw in these first couple of
Yeah, if you can spam the Qs long enough, you're going to get the better trades. Especially if you hit the sweet spots. Like, those
Yeah.
actually can make bad trades into good ones immediately.
Yeah, just look at that extra
Like
damage
this.
coming out. That is huge, and also just that passive with every. I think it's third attack. It might be fourth attack, giving him that extra health as well. So
Yeah, I'm
overall,
pretty sure it's
definitely
third
gonna give him a lot
attack.
yeah, getting a lot of sustain.
Oh.
Lauren is here though. See the spectral maul coming through, but overall, Antok just wasn't in a position.
Oh,
Out the
the
flash
flash.
coming out. Potato Man looking for something. Can't quite find anything. Gonna try and pull him back. On this ball lane, we do see double stuns coming out. Rooted. Nowhere that Okina can go. Gonna have to flash to get out of that one alive. Gonna switch targets because Fire Streak stepped into a chomper, and so he's gonna have to flash to get out of that one.
Yeah, it's 3 summoners for nothing in the bot lane after that trade. Great binding by Subtato, and this is the kind of advantage that you can get with the Morgana in this kind of lanes. Like, even though if you're a great Thresh player and you get the chains down, you can do quite a lot. The Morgana can just answer so effectively and doesn't even use the Black Shield. I'm pretty sure she didn't even
No.
use it that aggressively.
No.
So just finding full value out of this dark bindings that are connecting and getting a lot of value for this Jinx. Even getting a nice back timing, she's going to be quite strong coming into lane.
Yeah, definitely seen that back going through already. Batman. Okay, well, That double camp clear here. Oh, I was a little worried that blue buff was going to reset. I'm not going to lie.
It has happened.
You hate to see it, but this time around it won't. And so, drag is up in 36 seconds. We already see Gordon pathing down here. Maybe we see an early drag take. You never know. But with that kind of lacking priority right now in this bot lane, with those sums being down, I am curious to see if they're going to opt to take it, or if we can see Gordon kind of go for a bit more farming, try and find a gank here and there.
I wouldn't be against opting into the dragon because one of the things that affected quite a lot the previous game was the lack of objective control. Check.
Trying to find something here. Going in and took, though. Doing a whole lot of damage. Just needs a little bit more. Can't quite find it.
Yeah, and Antuk still quite has flash, so one more bad trade could have been the end of the Aatrox. He does have teleport, so he can just try and get a good back timing, and it's not going to be the worst.
Oh,
Nice
the
hook.
hook does land very nice indeed. The Black Shield coming out looking to try and find anything, but won't quite get it. Batman was charging up the leap, but won't quite
I
find it.
think he failed.
Oh, yep. Give me 1 second. Take over for just a minute.
Okay, so what we're seeing right now with the push of of some of the waves, Potato Mato is in a tough spot because he needs to keep on farming. Oh, Antuk! Oh, and he didn't die. Oh no! Antuk opting into the play, and this is what I meant. I think Potato Tomato needed to back into teleport immediately because he was not only low, but he was behind in levels. Like not opting to take the previous teleport that he didn't use previously means that he's just going to be in such a tough spot. And as nice looking, oh, the hook coming in. I think Fire Streak should still be dead. Oh,
Yo, at this point, I'm gonna just hire you as play-by-play at this point. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm back. Had to go open the door for someone actually. So overall, I came back. I saw those low health bars though. Someone actually didn't quite die. They're close to say the absolute least.
he utilized the what is called the pool, the dark pool. I think it
Yeah.
is. Or
Oh.
okay, nothing happened here. He utilized the dark pool a little bit late, so it means that the Thresh is able to run away with his life. Importantly, using both summoners, so not getting the kill on the Thresh actually quite bad for the Morgana, but all in all, when you look at the CS differential between AD carries, it's not that bad.
Yeah, definitely. Still quite manageable, to say the least. Now, Batman opting to grab that drag early with that pack coming out from Gordon, and so should be able to grab that. Let's get a little bit low. Definitely just need to be careful here. Don't want to go down
He
to
has
the...
his passive.
Yeah, he still has a pass. Okay, so that's not the end of the world. Flash coming, not Flash, the smite coming through, and so gonna grab that, and that's gonna be early. Little drag coming out for them, and so overall, gonna try and recover that loss from getting that first blood being given over to Antuk. Still a bit gold, still a little bit in Fever's favor at the moment. Not too much though. A very reasonable margin for this time in the game, and so overall, still a bit of a low period though. Not as much action as I was hoping we'd see.
Yeah, not quite a lot of action. I was expecting to see the Zac maybe opting into going for much more of the lane focus. He has tried, but he didn't find enough value yet, so it's kind of surprising seeing Batman. I'm only worried about Potato Tomato in all honesty right now, because he just hit level 6, but 19 CS behind. With the Shin, the Wukong is going to be so much more strong, and he's going to be much more CS at this point. It's so hard.
Still just
Ouch.
more trades going through, but a lot of damage already on Potato. It's that feast and famine kind of gameplay we were talking about. The Cyclone coming out, their World Ender as well, though. Can't quite find what he was looking for, though. A close call, to say the absolute least. Will get that out. Try. See Gordon trying to find something. Can't quite get anything in this ball. But yeah, like we were saying, right, Potato Tomato in this kind of this feast or famine champion, and right now he's hungry.
Yeah, he wants to have something to eat. It's like he has been 10 days without eating, so he needs to get something quickly. Luckily, hopefully, he gets the assistance out of the sack, particularly because Antuka still doesn't have flash. So if you have to take advantage of a timing, it has to be in the next 2 minutes, I think, because 3 minutes is actually too much. 2 minutes to make the most out of the flashless Wukong, and this bot lane is not going to suffer by it. Like, I feel like you should try and put a little bit of focus on that top lane.
Yeah. And we're going to have to wait and see if that does end up happening, though. We do see Batman here once again pulling up into this bot lane. Maybe got to try and find something here this time around. Wait for that opportunity to go in. Meanwhile, No Name getting pretty low from a ward there. Batman, though, biding his time induced. That makes it seem like they're just chilling. Gordon,
Potato
meanwhile.
Tomato will die.
Yeah, Gordon. Oh, you've fallen for the bait. You've activated the trap card because here's Gordon. The flash is going to come out to try and escape and in that bot lane. Very nice dart binding connecting. And oh, it's just going to go a bit far, but the smite coming out from Batman is going to grab himself that kill there. Fire streaks. Why you hook him back in? But he's got his passive, so it doesn't matter. He's not quite going to go down there. And ultimately, a very nice gank coming out. And actually, in that top lane, Potato Tomato did end up going down into the hands of Gordon.
Yeah, it was the kill onto the top laner, and it was pretty much telegraphed thanks to the fact that there's a lot of vision control on the top side, and Antuk was able to bait out the Aatrox quite effectively. Really nice kill that they get, and even though it didn't go into the pockets of the Wukong is 1-0-1, it's still a lot of value that you're getting. Luckily for the side of Clown Gaming, they get the counter plates in bot lane, they get a couple of kills. The only sad part is that the Jinx didn't get one. So that's kind of the only point that you can argue is bad in that play.
Yeah, definitely. Overall, still grabbing them kills. The goal difference still a little, it's getting ever slighter. Almost tied up, but still slightly on Fever's side at the moment. Objectives aren't going to be up for a hot minute, seeing as the Herald was just grabbed by Gordon, looking to try and grab this scuttle, but Potato Tomato is like, no sir, this is my jungle. Batman on his way as well, and now they're going to go for that 2v1, looking to pull him in, get that as well, and Gordon in a terrible spot, and he's going to go down. Potato Tomato actually popping the ulti there at the end of the fight, and will pick up that kill. So that is definitely a good step in the right direction.
Yeah, he still cannot fight against the Wukong, so I hope he thinks twice about trying to take those trades. But one kill back. Oh, the hook.
Ooh, hook does land, but spell immune, so
Black
really gonna come out of that. Yeah.
Yeah, value right there. Oh, nice binding.
Yeah.
Not much got him there, but nice
A
binding.
little bit of damage. I don't know why Fire Streaks like stood in that field for so long, just taking that extra damage. He's like, I don't care, but I mean, hey, to each their own, I guess.
He was standing his ground. He just simply didn't want to feel less than Subtato.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Gotta send a message. You know, he does not care.
Yeah.
We are not the same.
Exactly. Well, based on last game, they certainly aren't. Subtato played better than that. So right now it's on Fire Streaks to prove that he's at least equal or better than Subtato.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Still has a whole lot of time to do it. And with this next dragon up in 20 seconds, I was about to say minutes. That would be an interesting concept. Gonna have to see. Hook
One
not
dragon per
quite
game.
Gonna connect though. Yeah, one dragon per game. Hook not quite gonna find its way though onto Induce there, and now the dragon is up. So we are most likely gonna see a bit of war of attrition here for actually this top lane here though, and took a whole lot of damage. The second cyclone getting
think he
popped,
should be
but
fine.
I don't know if he's gonna have enough damage. Never mind. Potato Tomato actually knows the limits, knows the numbers, sticks around. I thought for
the
sure he was gonna go down, but in the spot lane, you know who is about to go down. Okina, as he gets hit with the super mega death rocket, and Fire Streaks is quick to follow as well. There's those kills that you wanted going into the Jinx's hands early on.
Yeah, it took a little bit of time, but at the end they get him. Oh, Potato Tomato has ulti.
Oh, ultimate getting popped. Indeed, gonna go in. A lot of damage coming out from those Qs. Can they find it? And Took though, he's like, yeah, go back to the bush where you came from.
Yeah, and that was probably the best timing that the Potato Tomato could have looked for the kill, because Antuk just utilized some of the cooldowns to push the wave. There was no ultimate, and the difference in items wasn't that big. The Potato Tomato also had ultimate at that instance, which means that if he can get that, the lane comes back into square one, and they can trade, and it goes into a better spot once again for the Aatrox. But because it failed, now I think that Aatrox has no agency at all in this lane, and he has to just try and scrape by every kind of item, every kind of CS that he can get, because he's a Sunder against components at this point of the game.
Yeah, things not looking too good for him. Meanwhile, in this ball, things are looking pretty decent for Subtato and Induced. You do see that Batman is trying to find something perhaps in this ball lane, looking to maybe set up for something. Chaos Storm coming out on a ward, but there's that Shockwave. Does too much damage. Batman, though, in the back line, couldn't quite find that knockup. It doesn't even matter because the Dark Binding, the drops gets dropped, but Okina will be taken out. Fire Streaks, not quite gonna follow. Super Mega Death Rocket goes, but it's gonna go far. Won't quite find the target, and Gordon is back up in the top lane. How many times do we teach you this, old man? You get taken out, you get put in the ground, and your world has been ended.
So guess who's dead? Dead again.
Dead again.
Potato Mate is dead.
Gordon's back.
Yeah, exactly. And they get the kill onto Potato Tomato. He clearly hasn't had a fun time in this top lane. Oh, Batman? Oh, he gets the stun.
that was huge. The ultimate coming out as well, and a ward gets taken out.
Give it.
Batman.
Team's turret has been
Yeah,
destroyed.
give it over, but oh well. Batman's like, I did the work, my money.
My inner mid lane is tilted after that.
You're like spam ping. You're trying to spam ping.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing that I say. Please, you got 2 kills in bot lane. Give me one. I died in lane. I need something. But still, they get the kill. So all in all, Batman getting the value, ganking right now. He didn't quite do it at the start, but it's finding the value. And this is what we'd like to see out of the sack. Go for this place. You get a lot of value. You're not even that far behind of the Viego. So all in all, finding much more success with this sack than at the start of the game. And I feel for the side of Clown Gaming, yes, your Aatrox is doomed at this point of the game, but look on the other side. Jinx is 2-0-3. This is not a typical start for a Jinx, almost ever, unless something goes really badly. So the fact that she's already at 5,000 gold in her pocket, should have the mythic as soon as she backs at 15 minutes, and potentially another component is so good for you. Like, this is making the Jinx power spike come even earlier, and the only thing that she has to worry about right now is Antuk. If she can survive Antuk, that's it. That's fine, because she can just destroy everyone else in the team fight.
Yeah, exactly. And with Batman being as fed as he is, right? And then you've got Subtato, who's been just demonstrating that he's able to place those Black Shields when he needs to. I have a feeling that Induce will have a long and prosperous life ahead of him. However, I don't know if I can say the same for Antuk, but did pop that clone, was able to escape, so nothing quite going to come out of it. And overall, I do wish we had seen a little bit more kind of attention coming into Potato Tomato early on. I feel like now it's kind of like almost too late at this point, now that like this laning phase in the top lane at least is pretty much over with that tier 1 going down. So now it feels kind of like Potato Tomato, not only is he not necessarily useless, but it's just like he doesn't have as much value as you'd like to see, and now he's really going to be kind of like begging for scraps in these team fights.
Yeah, he's trying to get as much as he can, which is not the best of situations to be as the Aatrox. And you can argue that, yes, he's Potato Tomato suffered, but you got advantages out in the bot lane, right? The thing is, I feel like bot lane, how we saw most of the plays happening, I think that they were getting their advantages by themselves. Like, they didn't even need the sack that much. The sack was there perfectly to help collect kills, but just by the way that the lane was being played, realistically, they were just happy farming, and that was going to work out for the side of Clown Gaming. But the lack of attention on top lane, like you're pointing out, just means that the Aatrox impact is going to be less at this point in the game. He has to wait a little bit more to even find value. If he can get a shutdown or maybe a couple of kills in the next 5 minutes, then that's not going to be that bad. Finally, he can begin actually playing the game. But at this point, it's kind of the sad part of the Aatrox.
Yeah, and I feel also the thing is, right, you got to look at who these kills were given to, right? With Antuk on that Wukong, that's such a huge threat for Induce.
Yeah.
The dash coming through, you know, is able to get that Cyclone on. So at the end of the day, you definitely have to be worried about that. And like we are saying, it's going to be pivotal if Subtato, well, not only is Induced positioning going to be incredibly pivotal, but also if Subtato can do his job and keep his ADC protected, and same with Batman as well.
Especially with this itemization, because he opted into the Kraken Slayer, which means that with Gale Force at least you have the reposition too. Now you're 100% depending on either Subtato putting the Black Shield on you, or on the Flash. Those are your two main tools to survive.
Yeah.
Nice.
Ooh, the double heal coming out. The double stun. Super Mega Deathmarker gonna go wide. Never mind, it does connect. The rockets follow, the zap follows, everything follows, and they go ahead and pick up a nice kill there. That was absolutely huge.
Yeah, great utilization of the Super Mega Death Rocket. I really like the play. Flash was a little bit too much.
Yeah, Batman is here as well. Doing a lot of damage to Gordon, healing up quite a bit, but look at that Morgana Q damage, and the zap follows suit, and that's got another kill going into Induced pocket. We see the Flash coming out, though. Channeling. That arrow comes through, and it's going to be enough to take out the one and only Subtato. Will go down. Anotuk, though, he's in those backlines, and there's a Cyclone we were talking about. He will find himself a kill. Chaos Storm coming out. Do they have enough damage to take him out? It doesn't quite look like it. No, they do not. Oh, the flash from None. No, he does flash over that wall. Is most likely going to be able to escape, though. Batman able to just survive because of the TP coming out from Potato Tomato. This might be those kills he was looking for. The binding does come in. He finds himself one. That's going to be one kill on the board for Potato Tomato. That's those moves we were talking about. That's what he needs if he wants to get back into this game.
So to keep on with the song quoting, it starts with one. and he gets that one. So it just depends on getting those nobles. Induce died, which is the bad part because you do give a shutdown away. But all in all, getting those kills, getting the control, not allowing for Batman to die is super important. And as long as they can keep this kind of momentum pace and allow for the Jinx to not get caught out like that, I think that Clown Gaming should be still in an okay spot.
Yeah, definitely. So far, things still looking up for them. Still have a slight gold advantage, have a lot of drag advantage at the moment, and still have that shutdown available on Batman. Now a 200 gold shutdown onto Antok, so I'm quite certain Induce definitely going to looking to cash that in, get a little bit of revenge here. But Subtato and Induce looking around, seeing if they can find anything while placing down some vision. Won't quite find anything though, as Fire Streaks is here once again. Does he have the? Yeah, he does have that control word in his pocket. No surprise there. Always
As
has those.
always.
Always has those available.
Yeah, sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But carrying those control words always works out for Fever. At least in the two previous games has, even if they have died a lot of times.
Yep. And Took gonna go in though. You see the Cyclone coming out, but not quite gonna find anything there. Zap coming out. Induced looking. Sends out the auto, but just can't find anything just yet. Now that Batman is there, though, if they can get some kind of a slingshot, maybe onto Antuk, maybe they can find something. Antuk dashing in, the whole lot of damage coming out, though. Meanwhile, in this bottom, you do see Subtato, though, incredibly low, running for his life, just barely getting out of that one alive. The burn so much, but will survive. And now they are on a bit of a bad foot there with Subtato being this low. If he does go down, that'd be a huge reset for Gordon. Super Mega Death Warrior comes out, but will just thread the needle and miss, unfortunately. So overall, nothing quite going to come out of that one.
Yeah, they really wanted to get the kill onto Antuk, but they forced out important things, the ultimate being down. They also forced a lot of attention. And if you look at the minimap, the state of the map, there's some waves that are in a really good spot for the...
Oh, why would you walk back up to
just
that?
back.
Just back. Just go back, please. Oh, my God.
And just like that, a play that really didn't amount to nothing turned into something for the side of Fever. Still, the waves are still pushing for the side of Clown Gaming, so it's not like they are losing anything else in the map, but support syndrome, I guess, of staying more than you actually need to.
Yeah, like, the sad part of that, it wasn't even that, like, they made something happen. It's just Subtato kind of walked up to them like, hey, you want a free kill? It's like, oh, I'm okay, we take those. Okay,
Yeah, like, he didn't even legitimately walk into our vision. Like, he walked into the minion wave.
He's like, hey, what's up? Who needs 300 gold? I'm giving out donations.
Why not? Exactly, because why not?
Yeah, gotta make things more interesting, you know. It's quarterfinals.
Yeah.
Gotta make things challenging. That being said, though, speaking of challenging, still another 2 minutes before the last, potentially the last dragon, normal dragon, I should say, the map is gonna be spawning, as Clown Gaming is on soul point at the moment, and that Hextech soul would be absolutely enormous, to say the least, for the majority of people on their team.
Yeah, and actually I think that the Hextech sold this game is so massive for the Aatrox. Because one thing that the Aatrox likes to have is I don't know how to describe it, like rundown potential, I think would be the way to say it. Like trying to be able to persecute people. It's the thing that Aatrox loves to have.
Just run
and
them down.
The slow, yeah, run them down. And the slow from the Hextech soul is so good for him. Like one auto attack just means that he can just keep being on top of you and keep running you down as much as possible. And I think that that would be amazing for Potato, because it also means that he doesn't need to 100% opt into Cerealas, which is an item that he typically does go into for the slow, for the penetration as well.
Yeah, would make life a whole lot easier for him. And Lord knows he's struggling at the moment. So gonna have to keep our eyes on that. Baron is up, so that is also a potential route, but definitely gonna have to wait for a pick or two to come through that, because I do feel like they could definitely burst it down with Induced being at the state that he is, but most likely are going to want to find a pick before attempting that, seeing as this is in a sense still on a bit of a knife's edge here, especially with Antuk still unkilled. 3-0-2 does have that death stance as well, so that's going to allow him to survive a whole lot more coming out from Induced.
Yeah, and I'm honestly a little bit questionable on Induced's build, because I feel like with the Phantom Dancer, he could have at least tried to play around a little bit more with the Antuk's ultimate, because I feel like that ultimate is so crucial that if you're able to just play around it, teamfight is going to be much easier. Like, you don't need the rapid fire to get that extra auto attack. You just need to survive and get damage down.
Yeah, speaking of getting damage down, look at that damage coming out already from Subtato. When those Qs land, they hurt. Yeah, they hurt bad.
setting up for the dragon. Oh, Antok has a great angle.
Yeah, indeed he does. Looking to find
Oh,
something.
the
Won't bring
engage?
anything though. Batman with the engage, getting in there. The ultimate coming out. Ward gonna go gold, but he's stuck in that graviton field. Once he gets out, gonna flash to get out of there. Close call. We see the Q landing,
Look at
the
that.
rocket landing as
Oh.
well, and that's the first pick coming down. But Gordon with the first reset. This is gonna be maybe huge from him. Never mind, because he goes down regardless. Double kill for Induced. Meanwhile, at the bottom of this fight, Antuk trying to find something, but Potato Tomato, he's done with the abuse. He's been taking popping the World Breaker. Antuk trying to get his back line, but it doesn't matter.
Antuk.
It gets absolutely popped. Is going to go down, and now Ward is the one running for his life. He's going to be able to get out of that one. And so at the end of the day, they will go 1 for 3.
Yeah, and even though Morgana is the one that collects the shutdown out of the Wukong, who cares? You get the teamfight win.
Yeah.
So in the pockets. Okay, no one can follow up. Yeah, no.
He's looking for it. Subtail. He's looking for it. Ah, okay.
If he gets a second
Wise
one,
choice.
yes.
Wise choice.
Yeah. So collected. They get a couple of kills as well. The Jinx doesn't die, not even forced to use Flash, which for the next fight, which I think would be around the Baron buff, it's going to be so important for the side of Clown Gaming.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you're saying, right, it's also going to be huge for Potato Tomato because we already saw just now, right? He's at a stage where he is healing quite a bit, can start kind of contesting Antuk here in the 1v1s. Maybe doesn't have quite the damage he needs, but at the end of the day, there's still 4 other members that he can look to run down and to grab these kills from. And Gordon, meanwhile, has kind of been slipping behind in the jungle side here. Hasn't really been able to find too much. We saw he got that reset in the middle of the fight, which could have been huge, but then he met the damage that is induced.
Yeah, the problem for him is that even though he can get the reset, if he goes in so far forward alone, even if he gets one reset, that's simply not enough to be able to play around fights, and there's a lot of lockdown for the side of Clown Gaming that they could just put him out of his misery as soon as possible.
Yeah, indeed. Induced sleep, one might just say here, coming out from induced. Induced eternal slumber.
Yeah, as long as you're dead, everything is fine for Clown Gaming.
Yeah, straight up. 14-9, almost a 2K gold lead. Clown Gaming looking good right now. We're seeing them slowly but surely moving up over to this Baron here, clearing out this vision, slowly but surely applying pressure as well. Poke damage coming out here though. Subtato, oh, that was almost hit. Bit of a close one. But at the moment, nothing really coming out of it just yet, but the tension is definitely brewing.
Whoa, that was close once again. I really like the vision control in the whole series so far from the side of Clown Gaming. Like, they have set up so well to just keep the vision up in their terms and be able to just run, control whatever the side of Fever wants to try and achieve, which I think is so important for this kind of objective dances.
Yeah, definitely, especially with Fever being a team that, like, if you give them the reins to do anything, they will do whatever they want. You give them an inch, they will take a mile. They're incredibly aggressive. And so just being able to lock them down and know where they're coming from at all times is absolutely huge here. Subtato, the lone man standing, trying to hold the line here, but a lot of damage coming out right now actually from a Ward. And Gordon does see that opportunity, but the Super Rain target won't quite connect, but it doesn't even matter. Ward will go down. The TP coming out as well with the gravity field. So much damage coming down. Antok trying to get into this backline. The flash coming up from Subtato. Won't find a kill there, and instead is most likely just going to find his demise. There's the rockets, and you are done for. If you don't find that kill right off the bat, then you only find your deathbed.
Yeah, and Subtato baited. Oh, no fire streaks.
Oh, fire streaks. Dangerous. Yeah.
Subtato baited out the Orianna award in such a nice way, like forcing her into a bad spot, hitting the bind, and then the damage from a safe distance. You have the Death Laser, you have the Sap from the Jinx, and then the Super Mega Death Rocket, which even though it doesn't hit, you have the long range engage from Batman. We see the distance that the side of Clown Gaming can cover with some of their abilities is so huge that it's kind of hard for the side of Fever to try and fight in those areas. And with the lack of vision that they have, the lack of control that they have, it just becomes easier for the side of Clown Gaming to opt into fights, force them out, and be able to win them out, not even losing no one in that fight.
Yeah, going flawless on that one, despite sending so much into the battle itself. They are looking better and better with Induced being at a good 7-1 at the moment. Has picked up that Infinity Edge, actually picked up the stopwatch here to counter Antuk. That's actually kind of, hey, that's definitely a move.
It's a way to try and play around it, which I'm not against it. I'm not going to say that I'm in favor either, but it's at least adaptation.
Might be going for the GA.
Yeah.
That might be the move.
Yeah, that may be it, which isn't necessarily bad, 100%.
Some hidden tech. Because I mean, definitely it is a lot of sustained damage coming out. Subtato thanking the lucky stars that he's got that black shield, or he would have been in a terrible spot. But overall, just trying to get some poke out here. And yeah, that's really what the side of Fever has been reduced to. They can only just
Red
kind of
team's turret has been destroyed.
watch, basically try and
Oh,
get some poke out,
Shockwave.
because oh my god, that
Oh
shockwave was huge. But
no.
Batman going in deep, the rocket, but the lantern clutch coming through, allowing a ward to get out of there just barely, but so much damage still
Oh.
coming through regardless. Induced almost going down to that turret. Unfortunately, his support will follow suit and will actually go down. Will go 1-for-1 in total, but only losing, support for support, not the end.
Red team's
Yeah,
turret
it does
has
mean
been
that they have free
destroyed.
reign onto the turret, and it's going to be
Red team's
easier to
turret has
collect
been
it, much more
destroyed.
gold going to the pockets. And the members that were
Red
around
team's
the
turret
area
has been
means that
destroyed.
the Victor has free time on top lane, so he doesn't actually need to do anything. He just needs to collect the top lane gold. Now, importantly, Elder is spawning. They need to back, reset, and come back for that dragon. That is a dragon that you can never in your life give away
Yeah,
for
no,
free, at least.
no, absolutely not. 40 seconds on the clock. Definitely need to try and find some kind of pick if they want to be able to win that team fight. And they're running out of time to do it at the moment, because I don't think, unless they get like a very good Cyclone into Shockwave combo, that they're gonna win this team fight. There's just too much raw damage coming out from Induced, from No Name, from Batman, and slowly but surely also from Potato Tomato.
Yeah, like it's kind of hard to be able to do that much. Oh, Okina.
Oh, I mean, hey, that's baiting out the ultimate already from Okina, but ultimate coming out as well from Induce there. So with that down, that might, you never know, that might be something they gotta worry about.
Yeah, that may be an extra bit of damage that you at the end are lacking. Or on the
Yeah.
other side, the consistency that you may be lacking. Oh, Conan.
Yeah.
A
Oh,
word
but
actually.
Ward is in a terrible
Oh.
spot. So much CC just cannot move. But look at that. A nuke is moving into the back line. Did get spotted up,
Oh,
but
the
hit
CC.
by the stun. That's exactly what they needed. Induced incredibly low, flashing just to be safe to get away, but it doesn't even matter.
Okina.
Because,
Yep.
oh my god,
Ouch.
so much damage coming out. But Induced and Subtato doing such a great job of recognizing the threat that was coming. Subtato hits the binding, and after that, it's just all over for Anto.
Yeah, and sadly for the side of Fever, like a word hits a two-man shockwave, but there's no the damage is simply not there.
Yeah.
He cannot kill anyone, and even though it's such a nice ultimate to hit at that spot, it doesn't achieve nothing much. Also, Antuk was out of position. He wasn't really in a position where he can follow up immediately, which means that the Wukong was never enough to be able to pull out the ultimate, and when he arrived, it was way too late. So all
Yeah.
in all, the control now from Clown Gaming is so high that I just feel like we're waiting for the final nail to be put into the coffin of Fever in this game,
Yeah,
at least.
right now it almost feels like the nails are all put in and we're just shoveling dirt on the grave right now. Definitely running out of opportunities if they want to find something, and it's looking to me like Clown Gaming is looking to find the end here, jumping onto a ward, incredibly
That is
low.
a tank.
Boom, gets first pop. There we go. First gonna go down. Batman taking so much. Two going down. Looking to find three. There's three. Can they find four? Should be four with one more auto attack. Finding four and finding
Yep.
five, and they should be finding the game here. Clown Gaming take game number 2.
Yeah, ending everything with a laser beam quite nicely. Who cares if your top lane is losing, if your Jinx 80 carry is 2-0 and 3 by 14 minutes, it's perfect. That's all that matters. If your Jinx is ahead, you can win the game. That's the new lemma out of Clown Gaming. And for a first game for Potato Mato, it was tough. It was rough, but it was his first game today. So I
That's
think
true.
we can cut him a bit of a slack, right?
Yeah, definitely, right? Still warming up, still kind of getting into it. And it's just one of those teams, right, where even if one member is kind of not doing the best, people pick up the slack, right? We saw just
Yeah.
in this bot lane so much damage coming out, and just an amazing performance, to say the absolute least. And honestly, started coming back there towards the end, actually. Like, even though, right, Potato Tomato was kind of getting hammered at the start there just from the repeat ganks coming, Gordon just constantly being like, how many times I got to teach you this lesson, man? You can't be in this top lane, bro. Like, just stay in Fountain,
Yep.
right? And he kept telling them that, and it just felt like Potato Tomato. He's like, no, I will stand my ground in this top lane. But towards the end there, he was still slowly but surely, I feel, coming back, slowly doing that consistent damage. And you can also see here from the damage graphs, actually doing still quite a decent amount of damage to champions.
Yeah, honestly, quite helped by his team, like you pointed out, but certainly was much better later on in the game. Like he actually find value, and I also like the way that he then opted into a little bit more tankiness. Like, yes, you do lose damage if you opt into going tanky, but when you're behind, when you're really not being able to do quite a lot, the fact that you opt into tankiness to have much more survivability and take attention away from your carries, I think that it's much more valuable. Which I like this decision making from Potato Mato, and it shows that he isn't as selfish as to just put attention on himself
Mhm.
and on him doing damage, but instead on allowing for the team to at the end just win.
Yeah, absolutely right. Realizing what the real objective is, and that's to just take
Yep.
the game home and secure the bag. And secure the bag, they did. And with that, CGG needs man. That Pepe is just staring into my soul right now, bro. I'm looking into the eyes, man. I'm getting scared. I'm not even gonna lie, but they need with that one more game to secure themselves a spot into the semifinals. So if Fever doesn't want to come down with a cold, they definitely need to find not even an opportunity. They need to find just an entire way to get back into this game.
Yep. They need one. Like it's going to be hard for them, especially being 2-0 down
Mm,
with the way that they've been playing, that the side of clown gaming has been playing, and with how a lot of the games have ended up going for them, when it's not necessarily that they make a massive mistake, but they just simply don't have the right answers for some of the plays that a clown gaming is pulling off. It just
yeah,
feels kind of rough for them, but there's a still chance. You still have one game, and if you can turn it around from that game, then I can see a potential for comeback later on.
yeah, definitely. I mean, and even in this game too, as well, it wasn't a stomp once again, right? They did take it to 31 minutes. At the start, was looking pretty good for Fever, but
Yeah.
just overall, just the ball. I don't what I don't understand, right? Is this we keep seeing this focus, right, in the pick and ban phase for the bot lane, nothing ever comes out of it. I feel like this time around, you can still see the bans, right? You've got the Alistair, the Zaya, the Lulu, and the Karma. And yet again, the bot lane of CGG still absolutely just decimated them, to say the least.
Yeah. Like it never felt like there was an actual difference that the bands made in that
Yeah,
situation.
exactly. Yeah,
And I can
that's the
understand.
issue.
Exactly. And I can understand kind of the thing where you ban away one champion because it's really unplayable. But when you're opting into banning so many champions and then realistically doesn't make a change, like one champion is fine. But banning five and then not gaining anything out of that, it's really
Yeah,
not the play in my opinion. Like especially
exactly.
when you ban five and you still leave up something like Jinx, that is probably the best
Yeah,
carry in the game.
exactly. It's like
Like,
if you're doing all this, I'm expecting to see something huge coming out of the bot lane. And
yeah,
so far, I've just been a little bit disappointed. I'm not gonna lie, but they do have one more game to change my mind. So
yep.
with that, we'll throw it to just a short break. We'll keep it brief. Don't worry. I know you want to get to that third game. And so when we're back, we'll be in the pick and ban phase, or the draft, I should say, not the pick and ban phase, for game number 3. Don't go anywhere. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this might just be it. This could potentially be the last game of the night. Fever have one more shot to put themselves back into the series at the best of five. And so I was going to call them Clover. That is the wrong series. Clown Gaming. I got to put some respect on their name. Clown Gaming is 2-0 at the moment. They need one more game to secure themselves a spot in the semifinals. And so Fever, they got to show me something here, man. So far, it's not necessarily that they've been just getting absolutely dumpstered, but it's just that they've been falling short of, at least of my expectations of them. I feel like they've been making mistakes that we didn't expect to see them make just because of kind of how good of a team they are. And it's a little sad to see them do it.
Yeah, that kind of sounds like they didn't do what we expected. They were kind of worst.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Exactly. Yeah, that's kind of the feeling that we have with Fever, especially with an unbeaten team. Like, I want them to get at least one win, right? Like
That's
show
fair.
us.
Yeah.
Like, try and fight back. Like, don't fall over and die like that. It's kind of the feeling that that we get with Fever tonight, tonight, and it's kind of sad to see. Now they still have one chance, and you can turn around everything from this one chance that you still have, like Rogue did. So it's important that they still don't feel demotivated enough. But Clown Gaming has looked so good, so
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to go against it so far.
Definitely. And already, I don't want to say it worries me, but the first ban for some reason is not showing up from Fever was Alistair, and
Yeah.
we are seeing another repetition of this kind of bot lane focused banning coming out this time around. The Misfortune, it just kind of makes me wonder, like, are we really gonna see a repeat of game 1 and 2? Or I mean, maybe they know something that we don't. We do see CGG this time around, now that they are not on blue side, are going to go ahead and get rid of the Victor. Do not want to allow that B1 Victor pick to be available, and understandably so. And so, wow, that was
that
fast.
makes sense.
That was
I was,
fast.
I was legitimately thinking, since they left open the Saya and Victory's band, they picked the Saya instead this time around. But Saya is not unbeatable. Like, yes, her ultimate is great, but there's still a couple of champions that can make her life miserable.
Yeah, and I mean,
and
we saw it as well with the Syndra, right? In game 1, towards that mid game, was doing a great job of baiting out Induced's ultimate, right? And sure, at the end of the day, it wasn't quite enough, but it was steps in the right direction. And CGG, they're like, okay, you really gonna leave the Jinx open for us? I mean, we'll just gladly take that and run it back like last game.
Yeah, and Jinx is a champion that can do quite well against the Saya. Like, yes, the ultimate is great to survive, but Jinx does a lot of damage. There's quite an obscene amount of damage, and it's not something that the Saya can stop by herself. Now, the Thresh is interesting because it does provide the safety potential for the Jinx, but it also means that Saya now will have an easier time trying to escape, because one of the ways to counter Saya is just immediate engage. Like, engage fast enough engage that she just simply cannot react. Something like a Rakan, I wouldn't be mad against that. Nautilus works to that degree as well. Leona as well, thanks to how fast she can engage. Alistar as well, but it's banned away, so it's kind of surprising not seeing that. But the Thresh is much more in the idea of defending the Jinx than on attacking the Saya overall.
Yeah, more of a defense than offensive pick, but who knows? Maybe we'll get like a jungler that's going to be able to fill that role, as we do see the Diana coming out for Fever. A bit of a different pick than what we've been seeing so far.
Yeah,
I gotta say, I'm liking the Nautilus though. That's definitely going to open up a whole lot of opportunities to get on top of the Jinx, especially with the depth charges if she is mispositioned. And we do see the Zac coming out once again, though, from CGG. So really looking like they're just running the back. And I mean, understandably so, right? You don't have to, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, with that though, I think that if you were going to try and run it back, I feel like the Morgana would have been great once again.
That's
Just because, like you're pointing out, the ultimate from the Nautilus is such a huge factor to try and get on top of the Jinx. So Black Shield here would have made even more sense, because it just survives better.
Now I'm thinking about it, it really would have, I feel like it probably would have been a better move to take the Morgana, just because of how much you can also block the Moon Crash as well, coming out from the Diana, the stuns that come out from the Xayah.
Yeah.
So a little surprised on that, but I maybe they're just kind of open on the Lantern to be kind of that at the replacement for the Black Shield to just get the Jinx out of these sticky situations if she finds them in them. And I mean, we have seen actually that you don't necessarily need it as badly, because Induced has shown that his positioning is incredibly good and that he doesn't find himself in these situations too many times. So who knows? Maybe he won't even be needing the Black Shield that much.
Yeah, like I feel like it's better overall, but it certainly doesn't feel like it's an obligation to have. Which
Yeah.
for Induced, it works out normally. Like you're pointing out, he has been playing well enough that it doesn't impact that much. I do want to talk a little bit about the mid lane potential because with Victor Ban, we're going to see the first new mid laner out of Clown Gaming. Like this is going to
Hmm.
be a newer one, and I love the Beggar of Wan because I feel like that is such a good champion to pair up right now with CGG's composition. Now, immediately speaking, we have Camille on top lane. I would have liked to see the Irelia just for the skill matchup, but I think Zed probably makes much more sense, especially with the face breaker as well as the ultimate to just push away the Camille and the Zac as well.
Yeah, still evident. Don't want to get baited before I say anything just yet. Yeah, okay. Are gonna
We
lock.
didn't
Yeah,
get baited,
all right.
nice.
Okay, didn't get baited. Are gonna lock it in. Yeah, so definitely gonna be an interesting pick, and also like you're saying, right, a lot of reposition opportunities. And once we get this last pick from Fever, we'll have a better understanding as to
Will
what
it
their
be Ari?
comp is gonna be to do. That would be a pick. That'd be interesting. Really taking their
So,
time here. Really gonna lead us on. Oh, it's gonna be the rise.
right.
Okay, okay.
So opting for the pushing mid laner that does have the realm warp, but with the range of the rise is not that high. So I'm kind of scared that you just get controlled out of the rise, and then it's kind of hard for him to be able to execute. Now it's not impossible, but it's kind of hard when you don't have that much range. He does have good survivability because of his newer tanky build, but this pick I feel makes a lot of sense. It's kind of the most typical answer that we see when Rice is picked because she does have quite good push as well in the form of the Ari, and then the pick potential is quite good as well. Like Rice needs to walk forward to you. So what is a great answer to walking forward? A straightforward CC that can control the champion as well, and that's something that Ari has. So I'm not against this pick, and it can also follow up with the second the Camille. So it's not like she doesn't have value both team fighting and also engaging with the rest of the team, which I think it's quite nice for Clown Gaming.
Yeah, definitely going to be crucial as to who these charms end up landing. I don't feel like you're going to have too good of a time if you end up charming the Nautilus or the set towards
True.
you. So you definitely have to be careful for that. But yeah, just that range that's going to be coming out from Rise. Definitely got to be careful with that, especially in this mid lane matchup here. You think we're seeing a kind of a run back again when it comes to the junglers, right? You think we're seeing another kind of run back where you leave the bot lane on their island and instead go for mid and top? Or do you think things are finally going to be changing this time around?
How much possible would it be to change it in the final game? Like,
Hmm.
I think that when you already run each time the same thing and it doesn't work out, you have to change out, right? Like
Yeah,
you have to adapt in some way.
exactly.
But I just feel like we're not going to see that for some reason.
Yeah, no, it's possible too. You never know. I mean, we definitely, at least from the side of CGG, right? We've seen that Induced and Subtato have proven themselves that they really
Yeah.
don't need too much help. Like, you know, the occasional gank here and there when it's, you know, opportune. But other than that, they're fine on their own. They know how to manage their wave, their lane. And so, really, I would like to see, if anything, a bit more attention coming out from Fever because you cannot let Induced run away with the game like he did in game two. So it would be interesting to see Diana kind of coming down into this bot lane more often, trying to make these plays happen, and just, you know, if Jinx is set behind in this game, you're not going to be playing the game. Period.
Yeah. Yeah, like it's quite hard for the Jinx, like you're pointing out, if she's behind. She's one of the champions that I put in the category of kind of the Cogmouse, the Veins, where it doesn't matter if you lose a bit of CS and experience, you can't die at all. Like
Yeah.
that's prohibited, and it sounds like kind of stupid and logical, right? Like just don't die. But for certain AD carries, it's fine if you die once or twice. For certain AD carries, if you die once, you can get ruined completely in the game. So you can simply allow that to happen, and that's what the case with the Jinx. And I feel like like you're pointing out, if the Diana focuses on bot lane, especially as well with Ryze having the realm warp, being able to move around the map, they put down the Jinx behind early, then that can be quite detrimental for Clown Gaming. The only problem that I can see from Fever not being able to do this is the fact that Diana is not an early ganking jungler. She's like the Hecarim dependent on her level 6 because that's a huge power spike, and she also gets stronger with each component, not each item, each component that she gets, which means that she desires and thrives with clearing the jungle as fast as possible to get to that power spike. And I feel like we're not going to see the early action out of the Diana, but we're going to see the action as soon as she hits level 6. I'm expecting to see potentially a gang in bot lane. Although I
Yeah.
think we're going to see a gang in top lane, but I would like to see it in bot lane.
Yeah, it would be very interesting to see. But It's that time again, TDS. Predictions are open. Are we going with Fever a third time? Are they finally going to get things back? Or do you think CGG is about to close it out here and now?
So I've gone both games for Fever, and both times they've lost. So I feel like maybe I'm just the curse of Fever, and I should go for Clown Gaming to see if I can break the curse for Fever or allow for them. But all in all, I like Clown Gaming's composition much more actually. Like I
Hmm.
overall think that they have a lot of good tools. They have a really good array of champions with a nice balance between them, between also the transition from each part of the game. So I think that they have a really nice composition to play around, and I think that Fever has quite a time limit to play theirs. Not like they cannot scale with the Diana or so of the sword, but Rice falls off later on because he's opting into the tank build.
Hmm.
Saya doesn't hit quite as heavily as the Jinx. The Nautilus and the Thresh kind of cancel each other out, and the Zed, it's not as effective as the Camille in the later stage of the game. Like, he hits hard, but Camille has true damage, has a Cho'Gathar in her
Yeah.
Q. So the fact that she can do this to anyone in the map and delete them as soon as possible kind of makes her a little bit better than the Zed, because Zed does need to be able to not get stunned. Like the W, the proc from the W is going to be so crucial for the Zed, and I feel like he has a harder time to pull that off than the Camille because of her mobility, because of the ultimate, and because of just how the Camille typically plays.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be interesting to see how Potato Tomato can pilot it this time around. I'm very worried that if Potato Tomato kind of falls behind like we saw in game number 2, that things just aren't going to look as well for his team this time around, being on a different kind of character, right? But I think that eyes are really going to have to be put on these junglers. I think that Batman and Gordon really are going to. That's it's ironic as well that they're going up against Gordon, but like that's way
Yep.
too much of a coincidence. But point being is that I feel like definitely it's going to be pivotal as to what lanes can they make these opportunities happen, as we saw right in game number 2, especially with Batman, who was able to get into that bot lane and just get those opportunities going and allow Induce to just snowball from that, and then from there on out just tank for the rest of the game. But overall,
Yep.
it's just going to come down to really, because I feel like most of these lanes are, except for the bot lane, relatively evenly matched. I would say Award and No Name have been like duking it out constantly, really only dying when the jungler is there to kind of, lend some assistance. In the top lane, Potato Tomato just kind of needs to get his ego in check. I feel like almost it's like you need to, like, the first time the gank rolls around, you got to be like, okay, probably going to come for the regank if they got my flash out, so maybe
Yeah.
I shouldn't be pushing up under the turret. And if you can do that, then I think they'll be fairly even match. And like you were saying, right, that true damage that Cho'Gath are in the queue is going to allow Potato Tomato to just decimate anyone that tries to match him. But in the spot lane, I do feel like Okina and Fire Streaks are a bit outclassed right now, at least from what I've seen by Induced and Subtato. So I think there should definitely be some kind of attention being placed into that bot lane from Gordon. And if we don't see that, I'm a little worried that we're going to see a run back from game number 2 and that CGG just closed this thing out.
Yeah, I feel like it's pretty much how it's bound to be. Like the attention, the amount of attention that we've seen from the lanes as well as the junglers really have been consistent in both games. That I don't think that we're going to get any surprises in this last game, but anything can change. Like if the side of Fever can change anything and make themselves have a bigger impact, then I can see them being able to pull up this game, which I hope that we get to see potentially.
Yeah, well, there's only one way to see that happen. That's to get onto the damn rift itself. So throw it to a quick break, and when we're back, we'll be on the rift for potentially the final game. Don't go anywhere. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is it. Potentially the final game
30
of
seconds until
tonight's
minions
CGG.
spawn.
Have 2 wins under their belts already, and they need a one single one more if they want to. What are they writing in the Oh my god.
Why?
Okay. They're writing some random stuff in the chat. Point being is that they need one single more game. Oh my god, is this friendship? What is
Oh no!
this?
Don't do this. No,
Dude,
no award is there.
I have a
Okay,
bad
no,
feeling.
don't do
Oh,
this. Like,
are they gonna do it to him? They're not gonna do him dirty, are they? I don't think they
yeah.
Okay. God, what is this friend? Disgusting. Don't want to see this. Go kill each other. Do
This
something.
is the peak top lane performance, peak
Yeah.
top lane experience. Like, you don't kill each other, you just dance because top lane is
Yeah.
boring. That's it.
Yeah, pretty much. Exactly. All right. Okay. Enough of that. I don't want to see any more of that. No more coercion with the enemy there. With a little bit of vision going down. And overall, actually, no, not the same start this time around. We do see a mirrored start in the jungle here. So Gordon might just be, as I call it, and maybe looking
Yeah,
to path down to the bot and try and make something happen here. Realize that Induced and Subtato are not to be messed with.
yeah. Finally, potentially going to opt into shutting down the bot lane, and we're going to see variation, which I'm happy to see. Now, one thing that I want to call out that has nothing to do with gameplay. Everyone has a skin on the side of Clown Gaming, which I'm glad to see. I'm pretty sure that's a skin of the Jinx, so everyone has a
Skins,
skin.
skins equal wins. No, yeah,
Yeah,
it's got the
I'm
arcane
happy.
skin on the Jinx. So yeah, skins equal wins, and that maybe that's what they. Well, I mean, they haven't really needed it before, but hey, I mean,
Extra buff.
can't hurt to double down.
Yeah. It's an extra buff that you don't know you needed, but you get. So it's
The
valuable to
skin
have.
buff. It's the skin
Exactly.
buff. Overall, though, just a
Ouch.
little bit of trade. Yeah, that is going to sting, to say the absolute least. But overall, just a little bit of trade going down. Nothing too much just yet. Oh my god, Antok just can't even move it. Oh, but the face breaker, but so much damage
He
coming
has
up from
Ignite.
Potato. Dude, Potato is not messing around today. He's not taking any abuse like last game. He's like, yeah, you remember what you did to me? You got to pay for it.
That really sounds personal.
It
Well, it
is
must be.
personal.
Yeah, exactly. It must be since what happened last game. Like, I can see why it would be personal. Now, hopefully he gets damage. Ooh, nice damage.
No name with a very nice charm there. On this top lane. And took
Oh,
face breaker and
Potato.
turret shots, though. Yeah, taking a bit too many turret shots here to make anything happen. Needs to be careful. Is winning out these trades, but then the turret pulls up. Or more like he pulls up to the turret, and then the turret just makes quick work of him. And then those trades aren't necessary. Pretty much go even, in a sense.
Yeah, like turrets are useless after 20 minutes, not at 3 minutes. So you shouldn't try and fight around the turrets. Like, not at
Yeah.
all. That is a kind of an obligation. Oh, he's going in.
I mean, yeah, we just said that, and there he is once again, sending it under the turret, just chunking him down lower and lower. But the sustain coming out from Set just a bit too much at the moment. Had to pop that
Wait,
potion
level
still.
4?
Yeah, it's just from the Qs, I mean, but pop the pot as well. And so now all he has left is the that Doran shield to kind of heal him up passively. So overall, not too much going down. The back does come out though from Potato. Doesn't even have to use that TP, so that might be huge when it comes to just resetting these waves and the rotations. Did get himself just a long enough and much. Oh, that hook just going a bit long there, not quite gonna find the target. But Okina this time around using that. Oh, hold up, Batman. That's a tether. Lands the pull.
Oh,
Lands
they
the
hit
charm.
it.
That's everything. And that's gonna be first blood. Very nicely played.
I was sure there was a minion. Like 100%. Oh, engage it.
Yeah. Oh, engage. And indeed, the heal does come out. Ignite onto Induce. The hook actually pulling them in. And meanwhile, on that top lane, Potato Domino kind of going to miss that hook shot. And so once again,
Oh,
be able to
he's
get the kill, but he pulled him in. Yo, and took. He was like, come on, keep being aggressive. You're going to pay for it eventually. And he pays the price.
Yeah, Potato Tomato just gets baited by himself, by his own greed.
He's his own worst
Really,
enemy.
yeah, like literally, he didn't need to do anything and he still killed himself. Quite amazing to say the least. But it's a nice kill that they get on the mid lane from the side of Clown Gaming. Like that kill was actually quite impressive because I was almost sure that a minion was between the Rise and the Charm. So I was kind of not sure if the kill was going to be able, but a great charm by the no name, getting the kill down, and an early great start for the Ares, something that you always like to watch. Because if she can out push the Rise, that means that you're actually taking away so much of the value out of the Rise.
Yeah,
Nice charm.
definitely another charge landing. So much damage coming out, but Ward
Nice
doing
trade.
a bit of damage of his own. Definitely need to be careful there. Oh, hitting hard to say the least. Just barely dodging the Q there coming back. And so overall, actually going to go pretty even in that trade. Gordon on his way into this mid lane as well to try and see if he can find something, but it's not what maybe might find something. If he can land that Crescent Strike, we'll be able to dash in. Not quite level 6 yet, so no Moon Crash is going to be available, so we're going to have to wait and see. You know, on that top lane and tip. Pulling in Potato, but not really finding anything. Gordon kind of missed the opportunity there, so it's just gonna have to back instead.
Yeah, especially now that Ares is level 6, it's pretty much almost impossible to be able to pull it
Yeah,
off.
yeah, you
So,
have to catch
not
up.
much that you can expect there.
You know, unfortunate hook
Oh.
shot going in though. Potato, just a little bit of trading going down here this time around, in this bot lane being pretty quiet at the moment. Nothing really going down, but we do see Batman slowly making his way down. Maybe we see a gank coming out. Gotta wait and see though. Fire streaks, looking for the hook, finds it, the glacial, the stun, a lot of damage coming up, but there's Batman once again. He just knows the sixth sense. He knows when the ganks are coming, and he's gonna counter gank beautifully. That's one, and that's gonna be two into the hands of Induced. Yeah, that's some Induced pain for you right there, and just like that, he's got 2 kills on the board, and it's looking like a rerun from game 2.
Yeah, and I don't know how Batman has done it, but it feels like every time something wants to happen on the bot side, like he has a sensor. He feels that bot lane is in trouble, and he's always about to be in the time for the play to happen, and he stops it. Like, it's amazing how well Batman has played, and all game long. Like, I'm lacking on words, but Batman has been such a standout player, and I feel like I haven't commended him enough for how well he has been playing all series.
Yeah, no, that's fair. He's got that 6 jungle sense, man. Every time something's pulling up, he's always there, jumping into the fray, tanking up for his team. And just like in game 2, where he got induced, that lead that he needed to run away with the game, doing the same thing here as well. Where it got him 2 kills. That's huge already for the Jinx. Last time around, I think it was like 10 minutes. The Jinx was what, like 2-0-3, and that's already on. Yeah, 14. So already it got those 2 kills under her belt, and so literally only can go up from here.
Yeah, and we talked about how it's important to keep the Jinx down, but it feels like it's almost impossible against Induced and Subtato as well.
Yeah.
Like, because they played that so well as well. They baited out the Nautilus into such a bad spot, and then even though Batman got the engage so nicely, the re-engage out of Subtato was so good. He caught Okina out of position, and because there's no flash, he cannot do anything.
Yep. Batman looking to go in and just not expect. At this point, you need to start warding that. The ultimate coming out, and Okina, nothing he can do there is going to go down. Batman. Once again, there's that attention we were talking about going into the bot lane, but not from the right jungler. We were hoping to see it from Gordon, but he hasn't even showed his face remotely close to the bot lane, rather opting to be in that top lane.
Once, right?
Yeah, yeah, true. Was there slightly once, but it's like other than that, you see what's going down.
But that's
Induced,
it. Yeah.
Yeah, Induced is 3-0 now. Your bot lane is struggling, and if you let this continue, you're not going to have a bot lane to come back to sooner or later.
Just like what we saw in the second game. So yeah, it's kind of harsh to be seeing what is happening with the bot lane. I think there's also not being good enough opportunities for Gordon. Like, I understand. Oh, what? That hit.
That actually did hit, and a ward so close to
Oh,
dying.
didn't use Ignite.
Yeah, didn't use Ignite, so Ward will be able to walk away from that one, and took. Oh, he might have just found Potato Tomato there. The hook shot going to escape the Haymaker, so won't take any of that true damage or any damage for that fact. But and took. Now he's a bit more on the offensive this time around. He's been baiting Potato Tomato in, and now that he's realized maybe Potato Tomato learned his lesson, he's not going to be as forthcoming and faithful.
Yeah, when you're able to kill the Camille like he did, I feel like you can just try and bait her out and she will be like that.
Oh,
What?
there's that showstopper. And the Hextech Ultimatum coming through, but it doesn't matter when you walk back into the true damage. And Potato Tomato will go down.
Yeah, not really sure what was the purpose out of the the hook shot going in the wrong
Yeah.
direction, but it's still a nice solo kill by Antok. Kind of the only hope that feels right now for the side of Fever. The only one that is doing well enough. He's ahead in CS. He has control over the lanes because everywhere else in the map, everyone else is behind. So this is the only spot, the bright spot that the side of Fever can look forward to.
Yeah, definitely. See Batman trying to do something, hold him off from pushing this wave, but other than that, not much Batman can do at the moment. Doesn't really do any damage in comparison to Antuk, so it's just gonna stall the wave, let it reset, and let Potato Tomato pull back to lane.
Yeah, he also has the Herald Batman, so that means that they can potentially look for maybe pushing the wave here and try and collect some gold for the Camille, which I wouldn't be against since Camille is so far behind. I think that opting into that plane wouldn't be that bad from the side of Clown Gaming.
Yeah, definitely. And at a point where it
Oh.
feels like, oh, got to wait for that because the Realm Warp did come through, but a very nicely placed Chomper, and the hook lands too, and not quite going to find anything, but doing a whole lot of damage to Warden. Like I was saying, though, it almost kind of feels like Gordon is just kind of giving up on this bot lane. You know, it's almost like it's like the reverse CGG, right? CGG gave up on their top lane in game 2 and just prioritized the bot lane, and it seems like this time around, it almost looks like Fever is just like, you know what? Well, bot's kind of lost, so we're just gonna put all our resources here into this top lane because Gordon was up there like once again for a while, but just nothing's happening really so far.
Yeah, the questionable thing is that, like, the idea is correct, like you're pointing out. If one lane is kind of doing bad, you try to do to help the opposite lane that is actually doing well, right? But the problem is that we haven't seen that at all. Like, I don't remember one play. Oh wait, the hook.
Yeah. Oh, maybe we see one here though. The hook coming through with the Death Dart as well, but can't quite pull the feathers back because of the stun, and so they're gonna allow Induce to walk away from that one with a heal coming out. I'm surprised Okina didn't pull the feathers back. Must have gotten stunned there from the flay, because that would have been absolutely huge. Instead, Induce was just able to walk away from that one.
Maybe the Saya already used it previously, so the cooldown was just out of potential to be used at that point, which I think would make sense because, like you were saying, I'm not sure why she didn't use it at all.
Yeah, that should have been a free kill there.
Overall, at least they did get the positive trade out of that. They forced out the summoners out of Subtato, and they were also getting the plates. So it's not the worst of situations, right? Oh, induced.
Yeah.
Oh, induced.
Yeah, dude, very nice flash there to escape the moon crash, and now they're going on the offensive. The
Oh,
hook does
what?
land onto a ward, and he's just going to be decimated. Goodbye, good night.
no.
First reset into Induced, and he's going to be able to utilize that to make a whole lot more happen. The ultimate coming out, meanwhile, from Batman. Going to dash in. Hook does not quite connect onto that streaks. Gordon getting out of there with barely any health. Super Mega Death Rocket connects. Batman with the dash, but the flash coming out from Okina to escape that one. Will be able to walk away, but that's a lot of sums burned to get out of that one alive.
Yeah, it's one kill, and the turret is still alive for the side of Clown Gaming, and they even are opting into the Dragon. So once again, getting the objective, getting the value, they are really just making the better plays out of the little that they get. And I feel like that's so important for how well the side of Clown Gaming has been playing all around the series.
Yeah, definitely, right? It's like they're finding these opportunities, making them happen, and making sure that even if the fight doesn't go completely the way they wanted it to, they're still getting net positives out of it.
Yeah. Like the value is always what amount of gold can you get out of what you get, right? Like if you can magnify that gold from a small play, from a play of one kill, if you can magnify that into more than just a kill value,
Yeah, Antok looking to multiply that gold and find some value, and that one more attack will seal the deal. That was actually huge, canceling the hook shot with the showstopper, allowing him to stay right behind Potato Tomato and just take him out.
yeah, and still looking like the main bright spot. So far ahead in levels, like much more so than the kills. The level difference is so important. Antok is 2 levels ahead of the Camille, so this Camille just simply feels like she cannot achieve much in whatever she wants to try and do against the set.
Yeah.
Which it's mainly her fault since she died towards the turret by her own mistake. But it just means that it's almost impossible for them to play. Oh, the teleport?
The TP coming out here onto the spot lane, looking to run down. Okina trying to do some damage. No, she's not going to get out of that one alive, and now she definitely won't. The ultimate coming out. Okina running for his life will go down low to the Jinx, and that's going to be just another kill going to his pocket. Actually going to get that first kill, though, on to Potato Tomato. Going to try and find something here. The ultimate coming out. Antok popping the haymaker. It just survived.
Super
White, though. Huge rocket coming through, and Gordon soon to follow. Batman won't even go down because he has Cell Division, and so no one dies on that one. A flawless execute right there.
I don't think you needed to tank those.
Yeah, I was
If
gonna
I'm
say, I don't
honest,
know what Induce is doing.
like he wanted to feel important. It feels like that. Oh, the ultimate in from No Name.
Coming in a huge dash from No Name to actually escape the Everfrost, and the flash does come out from a ward. So you get the subs out, and they get this bot tower, and so overall, there it is again, right? They maximize that gold lead that they can find themselves.
Yeah, going for the correct plays at the right moment. I love the teleport play. Just as the teleport was unlocked, it was immediately pulled up. They forced into the Saya that doesn't have summoners. Yes, she has the ultimate, but if she's in a bad spot, like she cannot flash away. So even with her ultimate, she's locked into a bad position. And this is the kind of plays that we have seen all series long from Clown Gaming that have worked out marvels for them, and that Fever simply doesn't seem to have an answer for them. They are feverish. They don't know what to do at this point.
Yeah, exactly. And also, I think it's great to point out that they managed to perfectly funnel 2 of those kills onto Potato Tomato, who we were just talking about was incredibly behind. And so now, almost equaling out with the top lane here, but we're going to have to hold on to that thought for a second. The Charm comes through, and that is just... You hate to see it. The speed boost coming through with so much damage as well. Superman, that Rocket won't quite find the target. Actually, though, Gordon dashing onto No Name, but the heal coming out. It's going to save him. The Crimson Strike, but it's not enough. And No Name is going to escape, and that's a triple kill. If things were looking bad, they're looking absolutely horrid now.
So, in a more positive note, that back from the Ari was quite nice. That's about the positiveness I can get after that play for Fever. And Potato Tomato opting in a fight again.
Yeah. Showstopper coming out, though. It's going to be a close call. That shield is just going to be too much. Give him the 1-2 left, right uppercut. And Untech is going to grab that kill. Batman going to follow up, but it's not looking like he's going to find anything. There's Smite coming out, but Induced is on his way there. So maybe they can find something. If Batman can just tank a little bit longer, they're going to try and get this kill, but they can't quite find it. They won't get it. The Haymaker shield, and now Induced took that tower shot. It's incredibly low, and you bit off more than you can chew, and that's 1,000 gold going into the pocket of a ward.
Yeah, and this is an actual positive thing. They get 2 kills, they get the shutdown out of Induce, which was 9-1. I'm not sure. Oh, wait. But no one is here, actually.
Yeah, so. But actually, that's the Featherstorm being popped out here with the exhaust as well. The box gets dropped. No way Subtato gets to walk away from that.
Just
run. Man, yeah, he walked back for half a second, too. Like, what are you going to do, bro? Batman. Batman in the
Subtato.
I don't know if the jump was the move there. He kind of jumped out into the middle of the lane incredibly low. Needs to run for his life, but he's just going to jump back the other way as if this hits. Oh, just barely gonna miss. No way. That's so unfortunate. Superman.
That was 100% a kill.
Yeah, that would have definitely killed him. But No Name is chasing up to Okina. Doesn't have her ultimate. It's also just gonna be absolutely bursted. Needs to get away from Gordon, who just dropped a moon crash. But so much damage coming out. Death charges get popped. Induced is here as well, and they're gonna grab. Actually, No Name is just gonna get grabbed instead. A bit too much burst coming out. Bit off more than you can chew. You got the kill onto Okina, but that's all you're gonna get.
Yeah, and it feels like Clown Gaming is pulling a bit of a T1, playing with their foot quite a bit, because some of these plays don't actually make quite a bit of sense. But for the Fever side, like, getting those... Oh, wait. Fire streaks.
Lord. Yeah,
okay, Flash. I respect that. It's fine.
It hurts, but yeah, it's fine. It hurts a little bit. It's so good. It's so good. That being said, though, Dragon is up now. At the moment, though, it's looking like No Name might be a little bit late to the party. So at the moment, Clown Fever is going to have the numbers advantage, but Gordon is going for that long flank around the right side, so won't quite be there. Hasn't shown himself yet, and right now is really just going to be a staring contest in this river. Both teams are looking for that opening to try and find something and make that first move. Most likely going to be up to Batman here to try and get some kind of dash in from Vision, but never mind. The charm lands, the hook lands, everything's landing though, and took going to pop that shield, and there it is. Batman jumping into those backline. Here comes the ultimate. It's huge.
The damage.
Finds 1, and the ultimate finds 2. Looking to find 3 here. Should find it. Gonna find 3. Gonna follow it up right onto Gordon. Should go down here as well. Hextech ultimatum, and that's 4. And that's gonna be the ace as well. CGG absolutely cleaning the floor with Fever.
Yeah, 5-0 team fight. They find the pick immediately. They get full body out of it. And this is what we talked about with the Ari. Against the Ryze particularly. Like, yes, tank Ryze can survive a little bit more, but his way of playing is running straight forward to you. So what do you answer that with? A straightforward foremost to see. The charm. This time around it
Yep.
was a set though, so it works out kind of in the same way, but it's champions that are running towards you. So these champions like the Ari, like the Thresh, just work out marbles for you in these teamfight scenarios. And with the gold lead that Clown Gaming has, it was just bound to work out so well. Great engage by Batman, great damage dealing by No Name as well as by Potato Tomato, because I feel like he got into a really nice spot. And it just feels so hard for the side of Fever to be able to pull this off. Like, they need to get a pick before the fight happens, in my opinion,
Yeah.
to be able to work out that well.
Yeah, no, 100%. And it's also just like the moment that charm lands, we saw it, right? The charm lands, it gets followed up by the Thresh hook, and just so much CC comes out. There's just nothing that they can do. And then they're kind of stuck in this. Antuk gets brought down to half HP, has to pop that Haymaker, doesn't have it for that huge damage in the middle of the team fight, and so instead needs to back off. But Induce needs to be careful here. The Realm Warp coming out. Gordon's there as well, but a very nice flash will dodge, or I should just say outrange the Moon Crash coming down once again, just barely escaping by the skin of his teeth.
Yeah, and actually, just because we just saw the Moon Crush, important to notice that wasn't in the last fight either. Oh,
Yep. But Subtato though did drop the box, but a bit too much damage coming out right now. Death Charges are soon to follow on, but overall, not gonna get out of there alive. We see a TP coming out, but so much damage comes out. Another TP coming through though. It is gonna be Andrew trying his best. The Showstopper coming out into the masses, but it doesn't matter because you land right into the fire of Induced. And he's just gonna take you down with the minigun, give him a rat-tat to take him out, get the reset, and this might even be a 20-minute Baron actually. Yeah, they're actually gonna go for it. It's only 5 streak, Okina and a Ward right now alive. Yeah, they don't know at the moment, right? Not killing as quickly as they'd like to. Okina trying his best to kind of dash him out.
Potato Tomato.
Potato Tomato saw an opportunity, but didn't quite get it. The Feather Storm coming out. The Fire Streak blows down, and that's going to be a huge tank off the board. A lot of damage coming into Induce, though. Needs to definitely be careful. So at the very least, that you get that pick, and they're able to scare them off from the Baron.
I don't think they can do Baron thanks to this. Also, Subtato is coming here, so maybe if he can get into a spot, they can pull off this play here. But I feel like they should just disengage because Diana is here.
Yep. Oh,
Gordon.
no, Batman about to run right into the hands of Gordon. Oh, gets pulled
nice
back
cancel.
in. Is going to go down. Cell Division gets popped. And unless someone can pull up to save him now, he's done for, and he's going to go down. The hook of the charm lands a bit too late. Maybe going to try and find something. Nah, No Name can't quite get the damage down on Gordon that he needs, and he's going to have to let him walk off.
Poor Batman, that's his first death of the game. He was doing so well. But greediness is something that you have to pay with your life. And really nicely executed by Gordon with the ultimate, really nicely done to stop the escape from Batman. Also stopping the Baron attempt, it's really important. Like, it's not yet out of danger for the side of Fever because they are in a tough spot. Like, they're still behind. They don't have the Dragons. The Soul is coming up in 2 minutes. And they need to find a better answer to try and come back into this game. But it's a good start to not allow for the Baron to go down, because that would have been really detrimental.
Yeah, 20-minute Baron like that would have been absolutely huge for that siege potential. They do stop it, grab themselves an extra little pick on the way here, and so right now it's really looking like it's all going to be up to Antuk and Okina to make something happen. Even though I think Okina is 1 in 5, still does quite a bit of damage just because of that lethality build in itself and just the Feather Storm. If she can pull those back, land those stuns on some of these people like No Name and Induced, and well, Potato Tomato is getting slightly tanky slowly, but still not quite there yet. Induced, bit of a terrible spot there, but Batman is there to assist, and yeah, look at that damage. The Rocket Barrage just taking him out. Nothing that a ward could do there.
Yeah, so I feel victim of not watching the minimap and was about to question Induced, but that makes much more sense. Yeah, the Batman being in the area, such an easy kill to collect, and even though it's not at the time of the Dragon spawning, it's still gold going into the pockets of Induced. So all in all, it's value that you want.
Yeah, absolutely. And then once again, right, Induced 12, 1 and 8, mirroring the stats that we saw from the last game. This time around, picking up that Phantom Dancer rather than the Rapid Fire Cannon, going for that GA once again. And so overall, we just saw how much damage is already coming out from it. It's just going to get worse and worse, to say the absolute least. And the tankier you let this Zag get, who is 1 in 15, you got to let that sink in. The more and more he's just going to be able to peel for Induced and allow him to do so much damage to Antuk. Oh no, he ran right into Antuk's arm. So much damage coming out. Those chompers mean nothing. Just too much damage comes out. And is gonna
this is a bad kill.
Yeah.
For Clown Gaming. This is just before Dragon. She's not up at that point. Like, maybe they can kill Amtuk, but I'm not even sure they can.
Looking like you're going to try the flash, actually, just to be safe. Going to get away from there. 5 Streaks and Gordon are there as well to provide some assistance, and a Ward and Okina will be soon to follow. And yeah, that's not a great pick to see right now. Now they're going to have to find a way to stall this dragon. It's going to be 10 seconds left on a
I
Deuce
don't
deck.
even think they can.
Dragon is up, yeah, and I'm not sure they'll be able to at all. Hook does the land here on Gordon. The charm lands as well. If they can find this pick, that might be huge, but gonna go gold. The hook
Oh,
does still
what?
land. They might just find it here. They will indeed grab that kill. Batman jumping in, trying to do what he can. Potato Man gonna pick, oh, not Potato Middle. Gonna pick up that
He died
first kill
here.
there, but will go down to Antook. Batman gonna need to dip out of there, but the hook does still land, but not quite gonna be able to follow up on that one. Rather gonna opt to go for the dragon instead.
Yeah, so Fire Streak should still be... Oh,
Blue team
that looks
slain
late,
the
but yeah, Fire Streak should be fine. They shouldn't die. And it all started from Induced. The one time we see bad positioning out of Induced.
Yeah.
Really bad for them because that meant a dragon. Like, if they get that soul, it would have been so harsh for the side of Fever to be able to deal damage. Like, that is a really important soul, especially for Batman. But with the soul going stopped, and they got quite a bit of shutdowns in that fight because they got the shutdown out of Induced, but they also got shutdown out of in No Name. They got the kill out of Potato Tomato. So all in all, getting a lot of gold value back in the side of Fever, there's still a chance that they can come back. Like, it's not yet there. They're still 2,000 gold behind. I think they need to be equal in gold to finally say that they can come back. But they are making it much more worth their time.
Yeah, they're taking the steps in the right direction. That's exactly what we wanted them to do, right? Find those picks early on
Yeah.
before the objectives so you have a fighting chance. And who better to find and catch out than Induced himself, right? It's just definitely sucks to see, right? I mean, the positioning so far from Induced has been great. And the one time they don't have vision in that bush, it just happens to be alone and took waiting for him. Nothing that he could have done takes him out, and they win the fight accordingly.
Yeah, it's a play that you have to question 100% Induced because you, as an AD carry, you should never be walking in that kind of direction
And
like
on
that,
your own.
especially on your own at such a crucial moment. But it's a thing that does happen to a lot of it. Like, even pro players make this kind of mistake sometimes where they just simply feel way too much competence in the position that they are, that they simply fell victim to it.
Yeah, so now we do see pressure being applied onto the Baron here, actually, with the majority of CGG being here, looking to see if they can find something. We see Batman channeling up, and they are going to jump in. They've got Gordon locked down, will go gold, but so much CC on top of him, and
Bye-bye,
they blow
yep.
him up. Yeah, bye-bye indeed. Nothing they can do to save him there, and with that jungler being down, that's the smite potentials on
Oh,
Subtato, trying his best to kind of buy his team some time, is going to be taking a credit a little bit. Anto, meanwhile, we'll be
Should be
pushing in
Baron.
this bot lane, so someone might have to come match him unless... Oh, never mind. They just shred
It's
this Baron.
dead,
With the Jinx, they shred that Baron, and they might even look to find a couple more kills here before they go to answer. They will send Potato Tomato over to answer Atok, and they are going to get that first kill onto Induced. No Name with the dash. Going to try and find this charm here. If he can land it, that'd be huge. The Everfrost landing instead with the Feather Storm. Can they get it though? Won't quite land it. So, okay, now we'll pick up that first kill. He's baiting. He's kiting. He's running for the hills. Can he get out though? He will not. Will still go down. We want that volley. Potato Tomato.
Oh,
So
Potato
much
Tomato
damage.
finally.
There's that Cho'Gath R coming through pretty much with the Qs. So much damage. The hook shot won't quite
Oh
land.
no, he
Can
failed.
find the kill? I don't know if he can. He will
Oh, he
indeed.
got it.
He'll still find it, and they'll also find this tier 3 in the mid lane. Grab that, grab this inhibitor, and there's nothing to Ward and Gordon can do but watch.
Yeah, and that kill onto Okina was much more important than No Name. Like, the flash being baited out of Okina is super important. The Ari still will have the team fighting tools for next time, and them collecting the Baron, collecting the kill onto the set, and only losing one Baron with the kill of No Name is overall much more valuable for Clown Gaming. They need to be able to get a lot of value. There's still a couple of turrets that they can collect so that they can maximize the goal. Particularly this top lane turret that is one auto attack away from dying. Like, literally. But all in all, this is the kind of situation that we talked about in this series with Clown Gaming. Maximizing the value of each of the plays that they opt into.
Yeah, definitely been doing a great job of finding that so far. He's gonna grab that turret, and that's just more gold to the pocket. Slowly but surely, the gold difference is just rising and rising now at a solid about 5K. Maybe a little bit less, a little bit more, but regardless, you just look at where all that gold is at, and just it's sitting on this Jinx right now with 15K, sitting pretty right now, and the Ari as well actually with that 10K. Quite nicely. We do see the LDR actually being picked up here from the Jinx. So that's going to start doing a whole lot more damage here to Untook and First Streaks. And even a Ward as well, who's somewhat still tanky with that new build.
Yeah, I'm not even against the LDR. I think maybe Bloodthirster would have been the other option. I'm not mad
Hmm.
against, just because you get that life steal, obviously. But this is a much more. This is opting into obviously the tank rise, the fact that you can kill him much more quickly,
Yeah.
and the set as well, because he did pick a little bit of armor, so he's going to be one of the targets that you're going to mainly attack later on. Setting
Yeah.
up for this dragon, 40 seconds. This is the soul now finally for the side of Clown Gaming, and I feel like they should have a really easy time collecting this. Oh,
Blue
Ooh,
team's
that
turret
hook
has
just
been
barely
destroyed.
landing there. It was close call. Honestly, well, you know what? I'll wait to make that point because I have a feeling the fight's about to be brewing here. The tension is rising as both these teams are trying to take control of this river. But look at that top lane. Potato Tomato, even though he's not there in the fight right now, he is split pushing in that top lane. And so if
Blue
someone
team's
doesn't come to
turret has
match
been
him, he's
destroyed.
just gonna push right into that turret. Already took out the tier 3
yeah,
and
I'm
moved
not sure
on.
if this.
Yeah, and look at that. They're just stopping the ports. There's
Blue
nothing they
team's
can do right
turret
now. They're
has
just going to
been
do their best to make sure that
destroyed.
no one can go back to base and just let Potato Tomato just keep pushing right now. And they're doing a great job at
Oh, the
dropping
engage.
away to the masses though. And Deuce is going to go gold, but that's a lot of damage that's bound to be missing at the moment. The
Oh,
Fire
the
Streak Gordon
DNK.
incredibly low, trying to find them kills here. Antuk will go down, and those resets
Yeah,
are
that's it.
all that he needs. All cleanup. Soon to follow. Featherstorm comes down, but where are you going? Into the grave. That's right. And look at that. They sent a ward back to try and stop Potato Tomato, but it was too little, too late. That first Nexus turret
Red
goes
team's
down.
Show
turret
got
He
has
cute.
been
does too much
destroyed.
damage. All the minions emote in
A
unison.
summoner has
And rightfully
disconnected.
so, because it's looking to
Red
me
team
like
has slain the
CGG
dragon.
just closed this thing out. Get those celebratory raptors and move on into that base and get that
Blue team's
Nexus.
turret has been
Yeah, and
destroyed.
just like that, great gameplay out of Clown Gaming from first game to last game, executing how they needed to, how they wanted to, putting up a really great performance. Both teams comes out of the previous round 3-0, but just this one team, Clown Gaming, comes out of this match 3-0. Really well played, deserved the match how it ended, and I feel like it's a team that you have to be careful of in the next round as well.
Yeah, definitely. They're quite a menace to say the absolute least here.
Yeah.
Very well, just very amazingly played, honestly, from CGG here. They, like you were saying, right? They knew exactly what they wanted to do. They executed on it perfectly. Do it 3 times back to back to back. And it's a little sad to see Fever take their first L there on such a not demeaning loss, but it just didn't feel like the Fever we're kind of used to, and like the Fever that has gone pretty much undefeated throughout this entire series.
Yeah. It's a moment that you don't want to lose at all as a team. The moment that matters when is push comes to shove and you have to actually respond and you end up losing. That's when it hurts the most. But no one is upset for loss. It had to happen here, sadly for Fever, but they had to lose at some point, and it had to be today.
Yeah. I feel like honestly, we kind of called it there at the start that if we didn't see attention being paid to this bot lane here by the side of Fever, that we were going to see a rerun of game 2. And we saw a rerun of game 2. I feel
Yep.
like once again, right? Batman just he's got that sixth sense. He knew when the gangs were coming, did like the one-off gang, and he was there to just absolutely shut anything down. And even without that, he was just there to make these gangs happen. And every time he did, got those kills right into the pocket of endured and so induced, not endured, excuse me. And so because of that, we just see a rerun of game 2. Does so much sustained damage, nothing that the side of Fever can do, just pummeling them with rockets and auto attacks. And even Potato Tomato, even though at the start, once again, was kind of struggling, slowly started to come back as time progressed.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing, right? Because we did talk about focusing on bot lane since it was such a huge problem in the previous game for the side
Yeah.
of Fever. But when you already are seeing that your bot lane is losing and you have a top lane that is winning so effectively, you have to get value out of the other side then. Like you cannot just mindlessly don't do anything. Like you cannot stop working because you're not your first plan trying to destroy bot lane didn't work out. Like as a jungler, you need to adapt, and that's something that I don't think we saw from Gordon at all this series.
Yeah.
Which kind of leaves us with a bad taste in the mouth because we saw that previously in the split he was playing much more towards trying to impact the game, make something happen. But this series, he simply didn't find his stride to try and do that. And
Yeah.
then he never try and play around Antug. Antug was the main shining light in the 3 games. It really was the main shining light
Yeah.
for Fever, trying to do as much as he could. I think Award was as well to a certain degree in both the previous game and the first game. But all in all, the fact that Antuk was the main light out of them and they couldn't carry through him or try and put pressure for him, it's kind of sad to see at the end.
Yeah. No, yeah, it definitely
Ooh.
is. Oh my God. We are getting an interview here. The one and only. Oh my god, should we producer man? Should we cut to a quick break and get him situated, or do we just throw him right into the water here? What do you think? Um. Okay, you know, I think we'll throw it to just a short break, real quick. Gather our thoughts, get some questions ready for the philanthropist himself, and we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. All right, everybody. We have a very special someone with us here right now for a little bit of an interview. The one and only Zach Main himself, dare I say. We've got Batman here in the call with us. How's it feel, man? You just locked yourself in for the semifinals.
Ah, it feels great. Um, I was a little bit nervous of this series because Fever hasn't lost a series yet, so it made me a little sweaty and nervous going into the series.
Got to get the blood pumping a
Understandable.
little bit. Yeah, understandable. I mean, for a team that has gone undefeated, y'all kind of gave him a whooping. I'm gonna keep it real here on the desk. You guys did not come to play tonight.
Yeah, I was kind of confused on how we 3-0'd them, and it didn't go to 4 or 5 games. But they're still a decent team.
Yeah.
I think we're just a little bit underrated to some.
Okay, okay. Well, hey, I mean, and anyone who's done that before, they've seen you play tonight, and now they know you are not a team to be messed with. I gotta ask you, as a fellow jungle man myself, where can I buy that sixth sense that you've got, man? Because I swear you saw some of these ganks coming out from Fever like miles away. And because we were talking about it on cast as well. Every time they pulled up with a gank, you were always there to counter. And even when you didn't have to counter, you were throwing out some of these just chef's kiss ganks there.
Some of it was vision. A lot of it was just tracking the jungler. Uh, we pretty much had the about the same starts every game. It seemed
Mm,
like.
yeah,
And I could then tell my laners, hey, they're gonna be here, they're gonna be there. And then I could also be there to help assist on counter gank if they do end up showing up. For example, game two, I believe that was the Viego game. Uh,
yeah,
I
yep.
knew at level three he was going to show there, and so I started walking there. And if I would have been there a little bit sooner, we probably would have first blooded Viego.
Mm. Okay,
It
okay.
did mean the flash out of the Aatrox, so I'm lucky on that. But yeah, I can kind of see 100% how what you're meaning, and it actually kind of leads me to one of the thoughts that I had, and one potential question for you is: do you think that you had an easier time in the jungle today? Like, because I feel like even I don't want to say that Fever didn't really try to be proactive in any sense or like that, but I feel like you always had the number on Gordon, and it felt like you were always the one that have tried to do something, and Gordon just tried to respond but never find his angle. So it felt like it kind of felt like you had a free time doing whatever you wanted to do.
Yeah, game one, I thought he kind of outjungled me a little bit because I was more focused on ganking than farming, and he was like 30 to 40 CS above me at one point. But
Yeah.
I mean, I'm Nunu, so like it doesn't really. Nunu's more of a ganking champion than a farming champion. So it didn't really affect me too much. But game two and three, I just felt like I knew where he was majority of the time, and it just felt like I was a lot stronger than him. Uh, Especially game two, I got really, really, really ahead, and he
Yeah.
just couldn't do much on Viego.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
feel that. I got a question for you. I'm not sure if you can speak on the behalf of a potato. Y'all have some kind of way to rein his ego in because some of these, my man. I mean, I respect the aggression, right? But some of these plays, like maybe you just gotta reel it back just a little bit.
Trust me, I we have to tell him a lot that hey, we don't need you to carry, we just need you to be existent in team fights, and we need to tell him to ward. Like that's like my responsibility, where I just say, hey, he's going to be topside. Make sure you have a ward, and if I have to say it like 3 or 4 times before he'll actually ward.
Well,
You can see that. Yeah.
overall, it did definitely a good idea, and I mean, overall, it did end up working out. TDS, you got anything else you wanna ask the fine gentleman before we let him go and let him celebrate?
Uh, just kind of my final thing, since we're not sure where we may get this next time to talk with you, be it
That's fair.
finals or anything like that. Like, do you think this team has the capability to reach finals? And are you worried about any of the other teams that are left? Because now we're reaching semifinals, so these teams should be quite good. So I'm kind of curious if you have any team that you're particularly worried about.
I've been preaching to my team the last like couple days that we don't want to ego anything. I think every single team that's left is really strong. Um, Obviously, CBI is a team that everybody has talked about, and they're going to reach the finals and are like the sure in win. Um, but TA Gambit's really good. Pretty much everybody that's left is really good. So it's gonna be an interesting last two series, if especially if we make it to the finals.
All
Okay.
right. Yeah, absolutely. Interesting. A bit of an understatement. It's going to be quite a banger, I would imagine. And there's only going to be one way to see that happen, and that's to join us next week. But with that being said, we're going to let that man get on out of here. He's been playing his heart out today. So we're going to wrap it up real quick. This is going to be everything from me and TDS. Thank you so much for joining tonight. Hope you enjoyed this quick but rather still exciting match series that we had. Hope to see you guys next week for the semifinals, and we'll catch you there.